All right, boys and girls, the season is upon us again. It is time for the NFL pregame party. I am your host, Joe's Atmosphere, and I'm here, as usual, with my two regulars. Hopefully our third regular will be back this season at some point, but it doesn't look like he's here this morning. Knock is here, though. What's going on?
Good. Just enjoyed football all day yesterday. It was awesome.
It was my wife's birthday celebration yesterday. I caught a couple of snaps of the A&M Notre Dame game. That was the one that was on yesterday afternoon for.
I didn't understand the hype of that one, but
well, who won the game?
Notre Dame. I didn't understand the hype of maybe John or if Matt was here, he could explain a little bit more. But A&M being number 20 just seemed weird to me.
It does seem weird, doesn't it?
They haven't done shit since Johnny Manziel was there, so I didn't understand why they were in the top 25. So I didn't think it was as big a game as it was made out to be.
Right. Gotcha. Well, speaking of John, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Just getting ready for Thursday.
Get ready for Thursday, the opener. What's up? Who are you playing? The Ravens, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that later on during the show. But, yeah, okay, so let's get started. Do we want to talk the slate of college football games from yesterday first, since they're the minor leagues of the NFL?
I was going to start with Thursday because all the games started on Thursday, and then work our way up to just mentioning.
We want to talk about college football, not the preseason yet.
No, there was college football on Thursday. It started Thursday, then Friday, and then Saturday. So
yeah, go, man, go, do it.
Okay. Well, I thought you said you want to start with yesterday, and that meant Saturday.
You guys take
what specific.
I say too specifically. I just said
yes.
To the preseason. Okay, that's all I meant. Let's check in on the chat real quick. Wait a minute. He's here.
He's not going to be here. He said, I'll be at work. Look at the next comment.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, do we want to play his video anyway? No.
Nah.
You know what?
He at least told us.
I don't have a video on this menu. Oh, I'm going to have to add it. Okay. I'm going to have to add it. No problem. It's good to see you checking in on us, Tim. And then we've got Gridiron Masters here. He says, howdy. Connie Cleary is here. Said hello, everyone. It's good to see you. Let's see. And Gridiron Master says, I wish they wouldn't have any rankings for college until at least halfway through the season. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. I don't know if it needs to be halfway through the season, but definitely a few weeks in for sure. Especially after this first week where you don't – what knowledge did we really gain out of, Mizzou beating Murray for 51-0,
Right.
What did we really gain from that?
Right. Okay, so let us know what's going on in college, man.
A lot of blowouts. Okay, on to NFL. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, boom, we're done.
Yeah.
A lot of 50-point
90% of these teams are going to be blowouts. I did want to mention a few, though. Starting with Thursday, there was only 3 games that I really paid attention to, and that was Coastal Carolina and Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State made a bowl game last week, so I thought it might be a pretty decent game, but Coastal Carolina destroyed them. And then another one I watched I think it was a little later, was North Carolina, Minnesota. This was actually a really decent game too. 19-17. It ended with a Minnesota field goal miss. So that was actually a pretty decent game. And then the one that everyone was watching, I think it had like 5.3 million views or something like that. It was the most watched game on Thursday night college football ever or something like that. But North Dakota State University, who is one of the best FCS teams, versus at Colorado, which the eyes are going to be there. Right. And they did the best they could. It was 31-26 was the final score. North Dakota, I think, like at one point had 15-minute to 5-minute time of possession. Like they controlled the ball in the first half, but just too much star power on Colorado's side. Just could not stop them on defense enough. So Colorado pulled that out. So that was probably the most exciting game on Thursday. And then on Friday, only a couple games. Army destroying, was that Lee Hill or Lehigh or whatever that school is?
A high school team of some sort.
Yeah, something like that.
An academy one that scored that many points, it has to be a high school.
And then your Oklahoma take care of Temple, 51-3. So that's pretty much how this weekend was for the most part. TCU at Stanford. TCU pulled up that one. That was a close game. Not bad. But Saturday, biggest game of the week: Clemson and Georgia. And Georgia whooped their ass. Georgia 34-3.
Anything else, bro? Come on.
And I think in the first quarter it was close, and then after that it was over.
After that, Georgia's depth chart destroyed Clemson.
And then a lot of the top teams, Ohio State or Oregon, didn't win as much as you would think over at a FCS school, 24-14. I don't know. I watched it a little bit of that game. They just didn't have that high flying, massive plays like you see all these other schools did. Texas, of course, taking care of business. Alabama destroying poor Western Kentucky. I think Western Kentucky has Ohio next week or something like that. Those guys, I feel bad for them. Ole Miss, of course, 76-0. And then there was the Notre Dame and Texas A&M game. It was definitely a defensive game. And then finally, late in the game, Notre Dame pulled away, and I think they got a turnover, and that led to that field goal that put the game away. And then ESPN, Pat McAfee, sitting over there in West Virginia for their pregame show, getting hyped in Morgantown, and they all, I think most of them went for West Virginia, and Penn State was like, no, screw this.
No.
34-12.
Excuse me. No.
So that I watched the good part of that game. I had a lot of games going on, but that was one of that. They weather delayed for like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So there was a big gash in the middle of that game. But and then Fresno State at Michigan. Fresno State was not doing that bad. They're not a bad Mountain West team. So they did pretty good. It was 23-10, and they were about to go in for a score, and I think they got a pick six. I think it was. Mm-hmm. Or a fumble for return, some turnover into a touchdown, that got Michigan up 30-10. That was pretty much the end of the game. So it was not too bad.
Michigan's first game without Harbaugh.
Yep, and JJ McCarthy, and just some stuff. So.
Oh God, we'll get into JJ McCarthy. Oh my God.
You can say what you want about him, but he still led the team. Mm-hmm. I was kind of interested in this game, Oklahoma State versus South Dakota. South Dakota, because South Dakota is the champions from last year. It didn't go so well for them though. But Oklahoma State is probably one of the Big 12 favorites for this year.
Well, yeah, Oklahoma's not there anymore. They're filling their oats, of course.
Yeah. Well, they played Oklahoma in that Big 12 championship, but got pummeled by Oklahoma. But
hello.
So they're still one of the top ones in that league, in that conference. The other interesting game.
Real quick. Before we continue, Gridiron says, I hate the cupcakes. Such a waste of a week. A&M loses to Notre Dame, and I want to see how they bounce back. But instead, I have to watch them beat a Division II team. Yeah, teams suck. I have more respect for teams that take on higher up, somebody ranked in the first week, like those couple that we had were a couple of top 25 teams. What was it? Clemson and Georgia played each other, and A&M. I'm with you on A&M. 20? How are they at 20? I don't get that. But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to mention Gridiron.
No, it's a good point. I think the thing I like about the guy, and I was searching for it the entire day, right? I just kept a lookout for it. I love it when a team gets paid, one of these lower teams gets paid to go to these bigger schools, and they beat them. And it doesn't happen very often. Doesn't happen very often. But I'm always going to be on the lookout. And if it happens in any of the teams, I'm absolutely going to mention it.
When an Appalachian State shows up and does it, yeah.
I think the biggest upset for this week. I don't know if it's right here. I'll mention it just now, but I want to go back up for a second here. Virginia Tech and Vanderbilt. Virginia Tech was looking like a favorite for the ACC, and they went into overtime, and Vanderbilt got the win. So that was probably the biggest upset.
Probably the weakest team in the
SEC, right? Exactly. So that was probably the biggest upset of the outside of last week with the Georgia Tech and Florida so far this year. The one game I wanted to mention up here is the Miami at Florida, and Miami just could not be stopped on offense.
Miami's making a comeback. They have.
I think they finally found their quarterback, Cameron Ward. What they were lacking, and so Florida just could not stop them on offense. It was
around the turn of the century, they were a dominant football team. I mean, we're talking the 90s, actually pre-90s with Jimmy Johnson. They were great, but they carried that over. I mean, Ray Lewis came out of that program. There were so many friggin' athletes that came out of the University of Miami that it's not even funny. But here, since the turn of the century, they haven't been good. They really haven't, and it looks like they've turned things around there. I don't know who's running that program, but they've been making all the right moves. That's for sure.
Yeah. Probably the biggest shock of the day. Iowa scores 40 points. That's just crazy. Yeah, after firing their offensive coordinator of last year because he couldn't get 25 points a game average, and I guess their head coach was suspended for this game for some odd reason. So without those two coaches, apparently they could score points. So good on them. They could actually score some points. But defense has always been very awesome, but the offense is just atrocious.
Yeah. If the head coach was suspended for a game, it's probably a recruiting violation. That's what that usually ends up.
Mm-hmm. I think that's right, but I can't. I didn't look it up. Let's see. Is there anything else?
Michigan's going to get smacked hard.
Well, who are they playing next?
Oh no, they're going to lose their last three.
That's right. They got a bunch of sanctions.
Yeah,
this is something Harbaugh was doing, or some shit, or what? Wasn't Harbaugh, but it was his staff, right?
Yeah, it was Harbaugh. Let's be honest.
Of course, yeah. He knows what's going on in this.
Okay. Well, since Harbaugh's joined the Chargers, someone's got a new hater fan over here. I got it. Okay, I got you, John. I'm not missing out.
That's nothing. He's the non-factor as far as I'm concerned in the AFC West, but you know.
This is a pretty decent game. Ohio and Syracuse. Syracuse now has Calvin Cord. I think it is. He was the quarterback for Ohio last year. That got, I guess, pissy after losing only one game of the season and decided to transfer. I always thought that was kind of weird. Obviously, there's other stuff that went into that, but so Syracuse won that. But Ohio was doing pretty good. That could have been an upset. So I was definitely looking at that game. My Boise State Broncos have the Heisman potential Ashton Genty, 267 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. That's a cool record. Their defense did not look so good though. 56-45. Wow. It was.
Who the hell were they playing?
Yeah, Georgia Southern. I think they are a Sun Belt team. I think. Yeah, but defense was not so good in that one. But they have one of the best running backs in the league right now. Because at one point they were up 28-9, and then the Georgia Southern scored before the half, touchdown. They got the ball after the half, they scored that one. And then I think the Broncos had a turnover or 3 and out, right? And then they scored again, and then just like that, they were up.
Wow.
So the Broncos had to, focus and get back on there. I didn't watch this game, but I kind of, because it got delayed a couple times, so I gave up trying to watch it. But Old Dominion almost beat South Carolina.
Wow.
It was 23-19. That was a close game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I wish I'm gonna have to go back and watch the highlights, but that would have been an upset right there for sure. Mm-hmm. Just trying to take a look around. This was a fun game to watch. Texas and Southern Alabama. It was just a fun game to watch. Let's see. Bunch of the late games that I didn't watch because it was by that time I was burnt out. It was
some of these games on the West Coast, they don't start until 9 o'clock at night.
After 10, yeah, after 10. Sam Houston getting one was pretty cool. I think they won like maybe one game last year, but they beat Rice, so that was kind of cool. Auburn
do? Holy
73-3.
Who are they playing?
I don't even know who this is.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, who is that?
North Alabama. Okay, North Alabama Lions.
Okay,
I haven't heard of them.
No, that's Memphis.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alabama A&M. That's right. Yeah. A&M Bulldogs. Okay.
Oh, God, talk about a warm-up preseason game. Good Lord, dude.
I was watching this game, UCLA and Hawaii. Hawaii almost pulled out an upset.
Yeah, I think that was on my CBS affiliate. I would have watched that if I'd had the time. Like I said, we were busy doing things. Me and Foxy were.
Now this game, I'm kind of sad I missed out on this one because I got to go back and watch the highlights. ACU, Abilene Christian Wildcats. Went into overtime with Texas Tech, and Texas Tech pulled it out 52-51. So I got to go back and watch that. What's that?
The Red
Yeah. So I was like, oh my! I saw that score, and I was like, that was one of the late games. So I was kind of done at that point. But man, look at that score. Let's see. Take a look around.
They won it by 1 point in overtime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It must have been one of those things where they, instead of going for the extra point, they probably went for 2. I'll find out.
Trying to win, I'm sure.
So some teams will do that. I mean, when you score that high, they're like, we're probably not going to stop them. Let's just end the game. So I'll see. Or maybe it may have been the other way around, where ACU was like, we're not going to, we're going to end it on our terms, kind of thing. Yeah. So I'll find out. Georgia Tech 2-0. They're 2-0 after their big win last week over Florida State. So good for them. They should be number 20. I think.
Right? They should be ranked.
I think we'll see. Let's see here.
Win, yes, the Raging.
Yeah, over Gramble, the fake G. I always think that's funny when I see that.
Grambling. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Louisiana Tech got a win. Let's see.
Yes, the Bulldogs. Coolest uniforms in college football ever.
So that's pretty much the game. As you can see, there was a lot of blowouts. So there's not going to be nearly as many games next week because of how many FCS schools they played. Right. So it'll be a lot easier to keep up, and there'll be actually good games, hopefully.
So what games are you looking forward to? Oh, okay.
Well, we have 2 more games.
LSU and USC tonight. Yeah.
Yep. So we got this one going on. That's tonight at 7:30 on ABC, and then tomorrow night you got Boston College at FSU at 7:30 on Monday night. So we got 2 more games before college football wraps up week 1.
7:30 Eastern, your time?
Eastern, yes.
Okay, so it's 6:30 our time. Perfect. Me and Danny will just be getting out of our show when this starts. Yeah, that'll work.
All right. Okay, yeah. Just taking a quick look at week 2. The first game of the week is definitely got to be Texas at Michigan.
Nothing on Thursday worth a shit, huh?
I mean. No. BYU and SMU.
Just say no.
Really, yeah. I saw this one and got excited about this one. So
sure. This
is obviously, the biggest game of the season so far. Texas and Michigan.
Now let's remember, boys and girls, don't forget this. This is the first year of the 12-team college playoff. This is very interesting.
Yeah, just because you lose this one doesn't mean you're automatically out.
Doesn't mean you're necessarily out of it. That's right.
Especially because of how SEC finally got rid of divisions, right? Yes. And then Big Ten added, Oregon, USC, Washington, and then they get, they got rid of divisions too. So
conferences that they have been predicting for a few years now,
and that means going undefeated is even more impressive.
Right.
Because of the gauntlet you're going to have to go through with these teams. I think there was maybe one schedule that didn't have any ranked players from that conference in it, which is a very rare thing. Like, it was something like that.
I'm very interested to see how these Pac-10 schools or Pac-12, whatever they called themselves before they got obliterated, do in the Big Ten. Their first year there, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, if they blow out these Big Ten schools, it's going to be interesting to see. I think we all know how Texas and Oklahoma are going to do in the SEC. They're going to be struggling coming out because they're not used to playing this level of talent. But a lot of people have said, fighting back and forth is the Big Ten or the Pac-12 the second best conference, right? They don't even mention the ACC really, but it's always the Big Ten and the Pac-12. Well, now we're going to see them go head to head. A lot.
You mean the Big Ten, and SEC.
Big Ten, you know what I'm talking about, yeah. And
Big 12 isn't mentioned in that either. Like the top two, it's always.
It's been destroyed. Look, the powerhouses are gone now. So hey, best school there. I guess arguably maybe Baylor, but
oh no, that's not the best. You got Kansas State, you got Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State's the best.
I think they still got. You got Arizona. Arizona was coming in hot last year. If they hadn't won so many games at the beginning of the season, then they would have been in the playoff talk.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't write Texas and Oklahoma off in the SEC either, because remember Mizzou came in and took shortly after took their division.
They did.
Now, hang on. That's when they had divisions, right? Like they don't have divisions anymore. So
yeah.
But this is the deal.
That division sucked. Let's be real.
That's an anomaly, if you ask me. I think that speaks more to the talent they had at quarterback, because it was Chase Daniels, wasn't it? I mean, that guy was really good. That's
unfortunately it didn't translate to the NFL very well.
No, it didn't. But he's been a good backup for a lot of teams. So
he's made a lot of money as a backup. He's fine.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Your backup is still a good career.
I didn't mean to derail you there, Knock.
No. It's all right. It's all right. Archie Manning got his first touchdown yesterday too. Is
he starting for Texas?
No. They were winning by they were winning by so much that they put him in late, and I think he had like 8 for 10 for 95 yards, something like that. He played a little bit, but he got a touchdown, so that's nice. Yeah, but they're pretty bad. They're hanging on by thread. This year they're playing a Mountain West schedule. They made a deal with the Mountain West to play their players or their
Pac-2.
But yeah, I think the advantage on this one, even though it's in Michigan, it's got to go to Texas. Just because Quentin Ewers is back, and I think that offense is pretty darn good, and their defense is solid. So I guess we'll see. Michigan could pull up this will be an upset if Michigan won. Let's see here. There's any others I'm looking at. Georgia Tech playing an FCS school. I don't even know what this is. TNTC, Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. What a dumb game. That's the kind of game that's stupid. I guess they were like, oh, we've just faced Clemson. Let's get an easy one. Let's get our preseason game in, I guess. Let's see here. If there's anything else in particular that stands out. I'm not really seeing much else. This next week kind of sucks.
Apparently, we got another tune-up game.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of tune-up games, man. Let's see.
I'm just not really seeing much.
No. LSU.
Oh, there we go. Tennessee.
LSU's playing Nicholls State next week. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they're playing USC this week, so they're gonna have their preseason game.
Right.
Tennessee at North Carolina State University. That should be a decent game.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to see Mizzou ranked at the beginning of the season.
Colorado and Nebraska. That'll be that's a Peacock. NBC and Peacock. App State at Clemson. Ooh.
We're
playing the Houston Cougars. Don't be scrolling past
my. Come on, Houston lost to Who did Houston lose to this
Always
weekend?
mention the host's favorite team. Come on, bro.
Who did they lose to? They lost to they lost to UNLV 27-7. That's not going to be a good game.
Your boys.
I'm mentioning the good games. Yeah, I was about to mention it now. I'm ready for this beatdown now. And it's 10 o'clock, man. That's what sucks. I'm not even going to get to watch this game. And it's on Peacock. I could watch it, but I'd have to stay up for 4 hours. These games are getting ridiculously long again. But Boise State and Oregon, our only chance is to just stay on the ground. I don't know. Oregon didn't look that as impressive this week versus their team. Maybe there's a chance. I don't know. We'll see. Dylan Gabriel didn't really shock the world. Mr. Oklahoma guy there. That's really about it.
The sheet for the predictions, sir.
Gotcha. Well, that's about it. Next week's kind of a bummer. There's not much there. I'll just be looking. I'm pretty much just going to be looking out for upsets and stuff like that. So there's only really 3 games really on there that I'm going to be looking at.
Check your local listings for where these games are going to be because the TV contracts have changed this year. A lot of SEC is going to be on ABC. A lot of it's on CW. You remember, CBS used to be the home of the SEC, and now it's spread out between a few networks. So you're going to have to check your local listings. I'm really impressed with. I was talking on another show this week about how CW is turning it around, and part of it is because of their sports division. They've had Inside the NFL ever since they were sold. And Bill Belichick's on there now. They've moved that show to Friday nights. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Inside the NFL used to be the best show about football on TV. Of course, this is back in the Lynn Dawson, Nick Bonaconti days when it was on HBO. But that show is still around. It's on the CW every Friday. And like I said, they're showing a lot of SEC games on CW now. So it's going to be split up a lot. So you're going to have to check your local listings to see where these games are played. Yeah, looking forward to a lot of college football this year. It's going to be good.
Or have one of those sources that you don't have to worry about where it actually is.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely. But yeah, man, I'm going to start Belichick's been added to Inside the NFL, so I'm going to start watching that show on Fridays. Let's see what's up with it. It's kind of late in the week for that, though. Remember, Inside the NFL used to come on Tuesdays. It was the day after the Monday night game they put that show on.
Yeah,
it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
Yes,
and they did it early in the week. Yeah. The thing that made that show so great is they partnered with NFL Films, who gets the best footage of any football game, And are you doing
just one? Just one.
Okay.
It's worth a watch. It is worth a watch, I promise. And it's real quick.
Okay, bro. Here we go.
All right. I don't even know what school this is. Robert Morris versus Utah State. And this is one of the best picks you'll ever see.
Okay, go. Oh, my God. Scoop.
Did he just do a full 360?
He did a full 360, bro.
Wow.
That was impressive.
That's like a Madden catch.
It is a Madden move.
Oh, it will be now, yeah. They're copycat. That's all you'll see in the next Madden. If they find something that looks cool, that's the only animation you'll see for the next year.
Well, they did put in Mahomes' Superman pass, so.
But I thought, that was probably my one highlight I wanted to show. But I thought that was
well, I've got a highlight I want to show before we get into the NFL, though. I think I showed you guys in the thread yesterday, but I am a proud grandfather of a football player. And it turns out I was asking his mother what's going on here because he's a lineman. He's a lineman on offense, okay? This is my grandson, Kale, boys and girls, with a pick 6 playing linebacker. Look out, dude, 22. Look at him on the right side of your screen. He's got it, and he's going. Hell with it. He's bigger than ever. Look how big he is.
Who was that? Who was that number 11? What kind of shit tackle was that? God, come on. Come on, 11. That was a terrible tackle. You didn't even try. You didn't even try, man. Forget that. He's fired. Get him off the field.
That was like my nephew.
That was terrible.
At that age, he was bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, he's a center. on the fucking offensive line, and he's out there playing linebacker on defense. My daughter says he never comes off the field, man. That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
Oh, he's a Travis Hunter type. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's playing everywhere.
There you go. There you go. That builds that endurance up.
Right. That's right. He's an Iron Man. But anyway, it's that time of year, man. It's my favorite time of year. Of course, you know, the summer's lasting a little longer these days. We don't have the fall leaves yet, but they're coming. They're coming. Middle of next month, we'll start getting that. Things will start cooling down a little bit. But
I won't be going to high school football games anymore.
How come?
Because Cole switched schools, and the school he switched to doesn't have a football team.
You're kidding. Wow.
So,
what a terrible school to switch to then.
I don't know.
He can't. Look. It's his nephew. He has nothing to do with it, you know.
Yeah.
Did they even tell you? Like, I mean, did they not understand how this would affect you? God, it's so selfish.
No,
terrible.
He's better off. He's also changed what he wants to do. He no longer wants to be an engineer. So.
Oh, really? What's he want to do?
A chef.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a really good cook.
Well, there you go. I think you've mentioned that before. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Whatever he wants to do. I mean,
whatever makes him happy.
Everybody, you know. Besides, it's hard to make it as a kicker, I would imagine. Good Lord. I mean, you know, it'd be different if he was, you know, catch a football or something, but kicking.
Well, he was a lineman.
Oh, was he? I thought he was a kicker.
Oh, okay. No. That's a Brady Group that I talk about. That's on the New Orleans Saints.
That's right.
He kept the spot.
Yes. Well, let's get into the preseason then, boys and girls. What impressed you the most? Of course, I was looking for Caleb Williams to fall on his ass, but he didn't. He actually showed out. But it's the preseason. We'll have to wait and see. I don't put much on the preseason at all.
He showed out versus the second string and third string.
Yeah, I was fixing to say. Yeah, when the bullets really start flying, let's see how he does then. You know, you might call me a hater or whatever, but I just, you know, they put a lot on this guy coming out. You know, what was more impressive to me was that what's that kid's name that plays for Carolina? He actually had a couple of decent drives in the preseason.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, Bryce Young. He actually looked pretty good. Another guy that looked good, guys, is Anthony Richardson. If this guy can stay healthy and learn a little bit more, because he had a stupid looking pick six, but it looked like it might have been the tight end messed up on him. You know what I mean? Ran the wrong route or something, but that's arguable. But other than that, dude, this he's got it all, man. He can run, he can throw. He's got a hell of a strong arm, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he can put touch on the ball too. If his football IQ catches up with his talent, the Colts are going to be hell to deal with, man.
Yeah, I know.
But the guy that impressed me the most in the preseason, though, is that running back for the Chiefs. I couldn't believe it.
We finally have a fullback now.
Holy shit!
After not having one for a while.
I was fixing to say, I didn't think that they even had a fullback on the fucking Chiefs roster.
We didn't. Now we do.
Wow, man.
It's like, okay, we'll make him a fullback.
Do you think maybe since they had to play ball control last year, that they decided they wanted to add a fullback and be able to pound?
Our wide receivers can't catch, so we need to run the ball more.
Right, so we need to be able to run the ball a little better, right?
Well, we've got Pacheco, who's he's a dynamic runner. He's not a pound.
I was fixing to say he's not a pounded every day.
Oh, they have one of those. They just choose not to use them.
Right.
Well, Clyde
Edwards-Helaire, I don't understand why they don't.
I like Clyde. He just has a tendency to cough up the ball a little much.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but
I don't know.
No, this Warhorse is just. I'm excited. I'm going to get his jersey.
What did you see in the preseason that impressed you, or what what didn't impress you? Who did you think dropped in stock from playing and that kind of thing?
Well, I was happy to see Russell Wilson and not do so well in the preseason. It was very vindicating. Couldn't even beat backups, so that was nice to see.
He was getting sacked left and right by backups, man. That was it was hideous. But here's the thing, Steelers fans, don't worry, you've got Justin Fields on this to back him up, right?
You didn't do that much better.
That guy looked like shit. Holy God, did he look like shit?
You want to come out of retirement?
Yeah, right. They're calling.
But man, I didn't really watch much preseason though. It just why at this point. No, I like preseason to exist because it gives some players a chance to shine and stay on roster. So I like that it exists, but it doesn't mean I like to watch it. But having said that.
Go ahead, Doc.
But having said that, I like what I saw out of Bo Nix. That's all I'm going to say.
I was fixing to say, you got to be happy with what you saw there, because
I will admit, Bo Nix does look pretty good.
He does look good. He does. I hats off to Bo Nix. He's making the most of his opportunity there. Let's see, NFL is upon us again. Yes, yep. My brother. I sent you the invite if you want to come in and yak. We know your Tigers are playing tonight, so
no Terry today, so no excuses.
Today, so he gets to hang with us. That's right. But speaking of his team, the Saints, I know there's a lot of people after watching the preseason that would love to see Mr. Carr get injured because they enjoyed watching Spencer Rattler play. And I was kind of impressed by the way he played too, because the last time I watched him though was a couple of years ago when he was with OU guys, and he just didn't look good to me. But apparently he's improved, so that's good to see for the Saints. I tell you whose backup position does not look good, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. They better hope that Dak Prescott doesn't go down. I mean, this guy had more passing yards. I'm talking about. Trey Lance, he had more passing yards than anybody in the NFL in the preseason, but he threw 5 picks. It was just wow.
Yeah, I didn't watch that game, but I read about the 5 picks. How do you even do that?
Yeah, right. Danny says Rattler needs to be starting. Live arm, very athletic. Yeah, he can move.
Don't worry, Carr will go down.
Yeah, Carr will go down at some point. But the bigger story to me, though, and this doesn't necessarily have to do with the preseason, is what the Falcons are doing. They went out and got Judon from the friggin' Patriots. They're trying to win now, dudes. They are trying to win right now. I think they realize that Kirk Cousins may not be playing much longer, and they're trying to build something that's going to get there now. We've been talking.
Well, I feel like with the Penix pick, as well. I mean, that's a slight look towards the future. You would hope you'd have the quarterback that you can win with now, and then you still have that guy waiting in the wings that actually gives time. I'm just gonna say, just gives the rookies the time to learn like they don't anymore.
And I think Penix is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams anyway.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. From what I
saw. Caleb Williams is just like a flag, and he's not really, he's one of those one-trick ponies.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be.
He just doesn't like him being compared to Mahomes.
Oh, is that what it is?
Exactly. Yep. The next coming of Mahomes, and John doesn't like that. He doesn't appreciate that.
Oh, okay. We can't have another Patrick Mahomes running around. Okay. We'll see what happens.
We're not going to have another Mahomes running around until Bronze hits the NFL draft.
I was fixing to say I never saw.
Well, they had the
Obama during a football game. I never saw that. So
they had Mahomes' cousin was playing in college this weekend, and he apparently balled out.
Yeah,
and is wearing number 15. And he looks like Mahomes too.
Yeah, he looks like Junior Mahomes.
Yeah, but the preseason. I mean, I always watch some videos. I don't watch the games either, but I watch a few guys that follow football. I watch, and they do preseason breakdowns, and The two guys that had the most passing yards in the preseason was Trey Lance and the guy from the backup for the Rams. I can't remember that dude's name.
Bennett?
Yeah. He threw for a whole bunch of yards and 5 picks as well.
Yeah, a ton of picks too. That game, he threw away, and they still won that game too. He what did it? He made up for it by getting that game-winning score.
Yeah, exactly. There can be only one. The Highlander is in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hello.
Are you with me?
Turn the sound down.
Sorry, I got here late.
It's okay, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was just updating the avatar and all. So
The avatar.
The album,
yes.
by the way.
The shark.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. He's working on The Deep now.
The Deep, yes. Ode
Number
to the
3.
boys. The Deep, yes. So real quick, the Saints. I would really like to see Spencer Rattler start. I don't think he will, honestly, this year, but he's got a lively arm. He's very athletic. He had some good years there with the Gamecocks. I think he may be. I think he may be a steal for the Saints moving forward.
Yeah.
Keep him healthy. He really brings a lot of energy onto the field, so it would be nice to see him play.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Car breaks down more than a Ford.
When I saw him at South Carolina, he was a little too inconsistent for me.
Yeah, I think with a better team around him and maturity, I think he's gonna turn out to be pretty good. He's got all the raw talent, that's for sure. But I would like to see him play.
And naturally, you would want to go to a place where Dennis Allen is your head coach. And
yeah, he's awesome.
His acumen with quarterbacks is
yeah. Seth, all over the place there in New Orleans under that coach. Yeah.
Oof. Wow.
The right coaching indeed. Okay.
Right. No, Rattler looked good in preseason. He really did. I was impressed because I'm with Knock. Last time I saw him, he was really inconsistent. But the guy, no doubt, he can run, he can throw. He's got the raw talent. But maybe sitting behind a car a year is going to do him some real good. You know, this will be a year to clear the pipes, get rid of Allen, all that good stuff. And maybe get rid.
Yes, he can learn how to be a great 500 football player, quarterback from Carr.
Right?
Awesome.
What a great way to learn, right? But yeah, man, we're all looking for the next Steamin' Willie Beeman, right? But I tell you, the guy that looked the most like that in the preseason to me was freaking Anthony Richardson. That guy, if his friggin' IQ catches up to his football talent, you better watch out for the damn Colts, dude. But he's got to stay healthy, Yeah. I'm sure they concentrated on teaching him how to slide, first of all, in the offseason.
Even if you get the touchdown, you don't have to die for the touchdown.
You don't have to dive for the touchdown.
You can still get hit when you dive for a touchdown.
Right?
I just want to go on record right now, before the season starts. Super Bowl champ will be the Chiefs again. I'm on record. You guys can take that to the bank.
Never going to happen. Triple Crown never happened in the history of the NFL. It will never happen.
Let's see. KC for Dan.
Boo. L take.
Hey, man. Let me tell you something. If any team can do it, it's them. No doubt. We are not to the Super Bowl yet, but I guess we can start talking about these divisions and start making these predictions, because this is going to be a lively conversation. Dan, do you want part of this, or are you running out on me? What you doing?
No, I'm good to go. I got in here a little bit late because I was doing my Sunday doing my laundry. So sorry I got in here late, but I'm good to go.
Okay, all right, brother. We're going to start with the AFC North. The AFC Northern Division. It's interesting. They're all trying to keep up with the Ravens. And what's funny to me is that the guy that there's two guys in my mind that could get comeback player of the year. One of them is in the AFC East. That's, of course, Aaron Rodgers. But not many people are talking about Joe Burrow. And we know that John Das Wolfen doesn't even want to hear that guy's name because he's the Chiefs' kryptonite. But it's going to be interesting to see how they're looking without Joe Mixon. First of all, he's now with
Zach Moss.
Who is he with now? He went
Mixon?
to.
Oh, he's with the Texans, isn't he?
He's with the Houston Texans. Yeah, that's another team that's been scooping up players left and right. So they've got to fill that void. But if there's one guy if they can keep him upright, they can make some noise in that division. It's Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Of course, we know what the quarterback room looks like in Pittsburgh, so nobody's getting scared by that bunch. That's for sure. I think it's safe to say they're going to be on the bottom of that division this year.
And Browns, Deshaun Watson. Enough said.
I was fixing to say, dude, that some franchises, I think the Jets and the Browns may be the most snake-bitten freaking franchises on the planet. I
think I saw an article
of Mixon because he gave some really good balance on the running game, which really helped Burrow not take as many hits.
Right.
Unless Cincinnati addresses that, and if they don't address their offensive line, it's going to be business as usual. He's going to get injured, meaning Joe Burrow. If they can have balance, they're a dangerous team because they've got a lot of wideouts. They've got a lot of talent in the peripheral. But that Mixon loss, I saw that in the offseason. They need to find some balance there for sure.
They got Zach Moss, who's not bad. He filled in for Jonathan Taylor last season. Pretty good. But he's not Joe Mixon. Not Joe Mixon. So I don't know who else they have running back wise on their roster, but they definitely. I agree.
I'm gonna say it's the Baltimore Ravens again. I just think that they've got a good program there, man. Now we're talking about winning the division.
Right. This is regular season. Right. Yeah. Regular season.
They're gonna win that division.
They're the Indianapolis Colts. Of today without the Super Bowl win.
Right.
I'll say as is. I mean, put me down for the Ravens. I hate to say it because I'd love to see the Bengals do something, but
Tim, thanks for being here. I will upload your video next week. Sorry, Dan, he's getting out of here. I will upload your video to this scheme next week. Sorry, man, I don't have it, but it's good to see you, Tim. Thanks for checking in on us, man. And Wookie Be Bad is here, calling us all nerds. That's right, we are football nerds. I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead. I was stepping all over you there. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Put me down for the Ravens. They're all in. They added the King Henry there, and
they did.
They don't win it this year. They're not going to win it. That's
exactly. They need to blow it up and just start over if they don't.
Still going to be the most overrated kid ever, just because he's never going to see the ball.
Right. All right, Knock. Who you got in this division? Same.
I mean, I'd like to go Bengals and take that pick, but it's just pretty much what Highlander says.
The Bengals in that division.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know if their offensive line is going to need better. Their running back situation is they got the wide receivers. They
what's that? John?
They
still got the revolving door.
Yeah, no doubt. Right.
So I'd like to pick the Bengals, but I think logically I think the Raven and the Browns. Chubb I think is still out for the beginning of the season. So that I don't know what they have a running back right now. Ford, who did okay last year, but what are you going to get from Watson? Is he even started yet? Like, is he still hurt too? Like, I don't know. I never. It's always like, oh well, he's still hurting. He's still recovering. Like,
here's the
how long do you need?
Man, you want to talk about a championship defense? They have got that in Cleveland. If they could get, it's kind of like watching it's kind of like watching Tony Dungy's Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day. They just can't get enough offense to win a game, man. I just because their defense is fucking top notch, man. They're awesome.
Yeah, they need to get some. And I'm just spitballing here, throwing a name out. I think they need to get someone like Joe Flacco. Hey, can you come back?
Flacco Sands. Oh, yes.
They need a Trent Dilfer. I don't know. They someone to do just enough, but
just somebody
You know.
not to fuck it up, right?
And to be on the field, that'd be nice too.
That would be
Yeah.
nice too. Yeah, John, I assume you're not deviating from any of the rest of us. I take it.
No, I'm going for the Ravens. Now, I saw one of those football channels on Twitter swear up and down that the Ravens are going 17-0 this year.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, that's
They have to beat you guys on opening night, so in your house. So no.
They're going to be eating a lot of crow when they're 0-1.
Right.
Come
F?
Friday morning.
Yeah. Okay. AFC South is next. That would be the Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and who's the other team in there? The Houston Texans. The guys that have been scooping up every free agent they can get their hands on to support their rookie of the year from last year, CJ Stroud. What does it look like to you, Knoxter, in this division?
It's going to be hard to pick against the Houston Texans because they're building the dream team over there. But anytime you mention dream team in the NFL, it's like a jinx, kind of thing. So, will Stephon Diggs, implode that? Would he be more of a hindrance than he will an asset on there? Because they had great receivers. So did they really need to add him? They got a good tight end in Schultz. They got Choke Mixon and they got the team. And you got Stroud on season 2, So, I'm sure their defense will get better. The Jaguars were like, that was the team like 2 years ago. That was the team you wanted to model, right? It was a young team on the way up, and they came back against the Chargers in that playoff game, and that was, they were ready to make a run this last year, and it didn't happen. So they're kind of a wild card right now. How good are they going to be?
I just don't trust their quarterback, but
that's the wild card, right? And then the same thing with the Colts. You have a quarterback that got knocked out twice last year, and then for the season, I think they have Pittman is one of the best wide receivers. He won me a lot of games in fantasy last year. And I think Jonathan Taylor's still there, so if he comes back to form, he was kind of banged up at the beginning of the season, and so you get them back. So you have a decent offense. I don't know how the defense is, and then. What do we got? Tennessee. No one's talking about Tennessee right now. How their quarterback, they got, I guess, Will Levis is starting, I think.
Now, their quarterback room did really well in the preseason, though. It's really strange. Then again, like we always say, you can't read much into it because they're playing backups. But the biggest winner on that roster was probably Malik Willis because he played well enough for the Packers to trade for him to back up Jordan Love. He got the hell out of there. So
so I think because of the 2 wildcard teams in the Jags, and because the Jags should be it, like they're supposed to be it by now, right? They're supposed to at this point be the team that leads it for the next couple of years, right? And now all of a sudden you got the jumpstart Texans that are
the Texans
in a honeymoon phase. So can they repeat that? If the Texans repeat what they did last year, they will easily be the division. And I think at the moment you kind of have to go with them because of how built their offenses right now.
That's who you're going with?
I'm going to go with the Texans for now. I think the Jaguars, it just depends on how the Jaguars do. If they do what they're supposed to do, or if they did what they did last year and kind of fumble.
All right. Okay, John, who you got?
I'm going with Houston. I mean, CJ Stroud looked really good last year, and I think he's just going to continue to get better.
Dan, who you got in that one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Texans. They've added some more pieces to an already pretty balanced team there. They're young. They're hungry. They are definitely trending in the right direction. That the Jaguars are trending in the wrong direction. I don't know how much they've tied into Lawrence, but I think at the end of the day, he's not going to get them big wins in big games. So much as I hate to say that because, I'm a secret freaking Jaguar fan, but
he is.
They're not going to get it done with him. So eventually, I would say in the next couple, 2-3 years, they're going to have to really reevaluate that quarterback position because they got everything else there. It's just if you don't have that stability, and you see what he does in the playoffs, he misses big throws, makes bad decisions. So with that being said, I think the Texans are going to win that. The Colts, there's your X factor right there. If they can keep that young quarterback upright, they could be dangerous. But I think as it stands right now with the pieces they've added, Houston's got to be the front runner. That's who I'll pick.
Yeah, and that's who I'm taking too. And I was just about to mention exactly what my brother just said. Anthony Richardson is the X factor because we've known for a while now with these geriatric quarterbacks they've been putting out there. The whole reason why they drafted Anthony Richardson was just to have somebody under the age of fucking 45 to play quarterback for that team because they have got a good defense. They have got a good running game. They've got good wide receivers. The only they're being handcuffed at the quarterback position. And if this guy can stay upright for 17 games and actually learn, because we all know quarterbacking takes reps. And if he can learn as the season goes on, they could be dangerous come December if he's standing upright. So, but yeah, bankability, no. For bankability, you got to go with the Houston Texans. And I will always lean towards a defensive-minded coach, and that's what you got in D'Amico Ryans. He played for that franchise as a linebacker, and he was a really good player, and he's a defensive-minded coach. He's going to make those kind of decisions come crunch time. So I have to go with them. Okay.
Jaguars are playing for transfer to London, so.
Yeah, right. Ownership, ownership you have to start questioning there too, don't you? I mean, it's just, especially if you watch wrestling, boys and girls, and see how the son, the guy that's in charge of football operations for the Jaguars, see how he's running the wrestling organization. Yeah, it's I'm starting to think they may be the Dallas Cowboys South, if you understand what I'm saying. But anyway, let's move on. The AFC East. This is Danny and I are partial to this division because our father's football team plays here, and they're no matter who we root for, we always root for the New England Patriots because that's where our father's roots is from. And our mother, actually, they're the only team in the NFL that represents an entire region. It's everything north of New York, basically, is what they represent. But New England looks like they're going to have Drake May starting off. I think no,
it's still Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, but I thought he got
Brissett.
hurt.
He's their quarterback. He's their QB.
Is that right? Because I think he got hurt in the preseason. I'm not sure.
I saw this morning. He's their QB1.
He's QB1. Okay. All right. So, but Drake May is going to be learning the position behind him. So that means they're going to be in the cellar again. Let's see. Aaron Rodgers Jets. Can Aaron stay upright for more than 3 snaps this year? That's the question. Then you've got the Buffalo Bills, who basically traded their entire fucking team for some reason, and kept the. I don't want to insult John Elway and say John Elway type, but we know who we're talking about. Eisen calls him the Mandalorian quarterback, which makes a lot of sense to me. He's got a lot of armor, but when it comes to this, he's not too swift. Anyway, Josh Allen is still on the team. I think he's going to be throwing to himself this year. I'm pretty sure.
That's about all he's got. I think they were trading for picks. I think they're going into a rebuild. They want to go into a rebuilding year.
Yeah, and I'm actually talking about the also-rans here because I'm pretty sure the Miami Dolphins are going to run away with this division this year, unless Aaron Rodgers has a comeback player of the year type season. It looks like it's the Dolphins to lose because they're going to be clicking on all cylinders again on offense. Now, another Chubb on the injury report, same injury too. It's his knee. Their pass rusher, which they didn't address in the offseason, I don't think, he's out. And it really hurt him down the stretch last year not having him.
He wasn't that great anyways.
Yeah, but
we got rid of him for a reason.
He was something. They had no pass rush without him. None. I'm telling you. I watched a lot of Dolphins games, and they didn't have any pass rush without that guy. But I'm going to pick the Miami Dolphins to take this division just because they have the least amount of question marks from last season. Knock, who you got?
You know what? We had this discussion last year, and I felt a little vindicated because I stuck with them. And I'm going to do it this year too. I'm going to go with the Bills.
Oh man,
I'm going to go with the Bills. I think they're getting vastly pooped on, and sure, we don't know who they're going to throw to. We don't know who's going to run the ball, but they still got Josh Allen. And I'm not saying this just because I have him in fantasy football, but I hope he throws for 50 touchdowns to somebody, even if it's the tight end. They still have a great tight end. They got the safety valve. They got a couple of good tight ends. They just need a couple of the receivers to show up. They could still potentially trade for somebody if it's that bad. I think they're just going to see what they have and then make some moves during the season. But I don't know. I feel like the Dolphins are still as good as they did last year. They're still one QB hit away from losing Tua. That's not going to change. Right. And the Jets with Rodgers, you're never going to convince me that Hatchett is a good offensive coordinator. So,
right. Aaron Rodgers is the offensive coordinator of the fucking Jets. Okay,
and I feel like that defense is getting older. So
and it's not been a good defense, no doubt.
Yeah, it's been, but eventually it's got to go on the slide. So I'm not convinced the Jets are the ones. So I'm going to stick with the Bills. I think they make something in it. They got a lot of flack last year, and they still beat the Dolphins. They still beat teams they weren't supposed to. But for the division, I'm not saying they're going to do anything in the playoff, but for the division, I'm going to go with the Bills for now.
Well, if the Bills need a wide receiver, I'm sure we can arrange a trade for Sky Moore for some buffalo wings.
It can't be Tony. You guys cut him. So.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if the Bills picked up Tony and then Tony just went off this year. And it's not going to happen, but it would be the height of hilarity.
Right. Okay. So I got you down for Buffalo. John, who you think? Miami. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because, you can't not respect Tyreek.
Yeah, they have the fastest guy. The Cheetah is the fastest dude in the NFL. And
second fastest.
Second fastest? Who's the fastest?
We have the fastest now.
Oh, the rookie? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he broke the record at the fucking combine, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We'll talk about that when we get to your division.
Tyreek hadn't he didn't have the highest score in the 40 either.
No, he didn't
So John Ross had that. We know what happened with John Ross. He's not on the team right now. So, that doesn't mean a whole lot. It does mean a lot. Was it Orlando Jones' character from The Replacements or whatever it was? He can run fast, but he can't catch the ball when it matters.
That's it, yeah. Dan, who you got in this one, dude? You picking the Patriots? What's up?
I am. You think about those teams, okay? The Patriots, they could get you behind the trigger, and they immediately upgraded their quarterback position. You talked about it before. Defense can carry you to a championship. The Patriots have a staunch defense. They've got a decent running game. They've got a decent offensive line. They've got some wideouts. I think Butte, second year in the league, he's going to do something for the Patriots at the wideout position, but they immediately have upgraded their quarterback position. They remind me an awful lot of the Ray Lewis Ravens that won Super Bowls with that staunch defense and just a little bit of offense. That's all they need. So I'm going to go on a limb. You can write this one down too. Patriots are going to win the East.
I got you, man. I got you. The New England Patriots. I knew he was going to pick them. See, I know my brother rather well. I knew he was going to pick them. Okay. The West. Two guys on our panel are huge AFC West fans, and we've got a new coach in the mix there. Last year, we had Sean Payton come in for the Denver Broncos. It used to be the NFC West was the toughest division in football. That really has been up in the air for the last few years, but really to me, it looks like a lot of focus is going into the AFC West because the champs are there, the back-to-back champs are there, and everybody's trying to keep up with them. Now, the team least ready to do it is the friggin' Las Vegas Raiders. No doubt about that. They're going to be the punching bag of that division. But there's 3 teams in that division you got to keep an eye on. First of all, Bo Nix, as we talked about earlier, really looked good in the Sean Payton system for the offense for the Denver Broncos. Of course, we don't know what it's going to look like when the bullets really start flying this Sunday. We'll find out. But he did look good in the preseason. And I'm sure that Sean Payton is glad to have a quarterback or two that he can actually coach and have somebody absorb it, because it's obvious, my man, I love you, Russ, but you obviously didn't absorb anything that man was trying to teach you. And then you've got Jim Harbaugh entering the mix with arguably the second best quarterback in that division in Herbert. This is something. Now let's make this clear, boys and girls. This is something that Harbaugh has never had, a decent quarterback, because let's face it, he got the Niners to a Super Bowl with a guy that just was not very good. And he did it with a good running game is what he did.
But he tailored that offense to Kaepernick.
To his talents,
strengths.
Yes, he did.
So he was good for that system.
Right. And that's the kind of football he likes his teams to play. Hard-nosed defense, hard-nosed running game, just beats you up physically. It's basically what they're still doing in San Francisco, even though he's left there. They're still playing that brand of football up there now. So, it's interesting to see. Do I think anybody's going to take the division from the Kansas City Chiefs this year? No, I don't think so. I'm going to put down the Kansas City Chiefs myself. I know I can put Danny down for it. Well, unless you think they're going as a wild card, Dan.
Chiefs.
There it is. Boom. But go ahead and comment on it, Dan. What do you think? Do you think Harbaugh is going to make them better?
I think San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers is a garbage franchise. I think that's a move for the franchise to put fannies in the seats. At the end of the day, they are going to be just a bit above 500 football team. Mm-hmm. Chiefs are going to dominate the division. They're going to win that division. They may be pushed by the Broncos. I think the Broncos may be a year away, but I'm telling you right now, as long as you got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid walking the sidelines, that Chiefs team is they have the pedigree. They know how to win. Last year, they got to go on the road this year. They did that. I mean, they are going to win that division. They'll win the Super Bowl unless Patrick Mahomes gets injured. Other than that, it's going to be a fun season to watch, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah. And let's not discount the defensive player that they re-signed. Jones is a beast. He's one of those guys, kind of like Richard Seymour back in the day, that you can build a defense around, and that's what they do every year. The other parts may change, but with Spagnuolo's great defensive mind and that one player, they proved it last year. Like you said, Dan, they went on the road. They played defense. They played ball control offense, which was amazing to me. I couldn't believe it. And it was amazing, the run they had last year. It was their most impressive one, if you ask me. It really was. Knock. What do you think? Your Denver Broncos going to push them fellas? What's up?
Not this year. I think the Chiefs have the division pretty soundly. A couple things I'll say. I think the Denver Broncos are probably the ones that are going to get beaten up this year. I don't think our defense is that crazy. Mm-hmm. All we have is really one cornerback. He's a great cornerback, but that's really all we have. So I don't think our defensive line is that crazy. I think teams will be able to run on us like they did last year. So I don't know. I don't think our offense is good enough to keep up with some of these teams. So I think we're going to beat a bunch of bag. I think Las Vegas is actually kind of a wild card here. They dominated teams last year, like just right at the end of the year. Once they got rid of McDaniels, they were a whole different team, completely different team. And then they were like, "Hey, let's keep this coach around." So they did that, right? And then the Chargers, I think the loss of Keenan Allen is going to be the most profound effect on them. Herbert losing one of his best wide receivers. So I think that's going to hurt them more than anything else. And then for the Chiefs, they only got better with their offense. You know, they re-signed Juju Smith, so they have he was reliable for them, and then of course they got Xavier Worthy.
Hold that thought real quick. Let's be clear. They signed Schuster back to the team because their guys can't stay out of jail in the offseason for some reason, and one of them's going to be out. What, 1 or 2 games at the beginning of the season or something?
Was that Rice?
Yeah, I
can't Rice. Rice, they're not doing anything with until after the case goes through, which is his next hearing date isn't until December.
Okay, but you feel where I'm going there. It's insurance is why they got him. But anyway, go ahead, Knock.
So I think the one team to watch out for the most probably in this conference just to be a challenge would be the Raiders. And if they can maintain what they were doing at the end of last year, like that's the momentum that they talk about going into the next year. The Raiders did that, right? So will that carry over? And like I said, they were destroying teams at the end of the season.
Yeah, they were. They were beating them up pretty bad. Yeah.
So can they do that? But the problem is you got Gardner Minshew and Aiden.
The quarterback now, yeah.
So that's to me. I think. That's the underrated team here is the Raiders. I think it'll go Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, and the Broncos this year. I like the Broncos more next year. I think Bo Nix gets a year under their belt. I hope they keep him in. What's the saying? Into the frying pan. Let him sizzle. Let him get the whole. Give him the Peyton Manning treatment, where he's in that whole season. He learns. Hopefully, he learns a ton. He doesn't get injured, and he learns the NFL for a whole year. Keep him in there. Then next year, you build up that defense, get him into a juggernaut if you can, get him maybe a few more weapons, and next year they'll be good.
Yeah, look, Sean Payton's team is coming, and I'm sure even John would agree with this that they're going to be a threat to the Chiefs eventually. When he gets all his pieces together, because Sean Payton, if you ask me, he's one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL. I mean, I really feel that way. John, your Chiefs, tell us about what you're worried about for them repeating. Well, they didn't repeat. They weren't the division champs last year, were they? Or were they?
Yeah.
They were. But the past the wild card round, they had to go.
By the way, Joe, before he answers, I have one question for the panel after John does his take before we go to the NFC. That's all.
Okay. All right. No problem. I got you.
If
go,
I have
John.
Any concern, it's the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Because we lost Snead.
Okay. Yeah, Snead. Didn't he come from New Orleans? Didn't he play for New Orleans, or am I thinking of the wide receiver?
You're thinking Tyler
okay.
Matthew, who went back home to New Orleans.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
But no, Snead went to. I forgot where he went now.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's the kid that's the rookie that we got for the other quarterback is looking really good.
Yeah.
But he's a rookie. So if there's a weak spot, it's going to be our secondary.
Well,
and what do you do when you have a weak secondary? You get to the quarterback with your defensive line. And who do they re-sign?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So and that's always going to be the cover for a bad secondary. And then and then by the end of the season, what do you have? You have an experienced secondary, right?
Yeah.
That they learn throughout. Yeah. I could see there being like a rough start. A lot of points given up at the beginning of the season, but you give that secondary time to learn, experience, and grow. By the end of the season, that's all you need. And then you just have Chris Jones causing havoc.
Being coached by a great defensive mind. Spagnuolo, I don't think he gets enough credit.
Terrible head coach, but great.
A great defensive coordinator. Some guys are not head coach quality, but they're great coordinators. He's one of them.
No Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen's a really good friggin' defensive coordinator.
No, I mean,
Nate Hatchett. Well, that one's still kind of iffy.
We passed. Obviously, the receiver room is probably the best receiver room we've had in a very long time. If
they can stay on the field and catch the ball,
and not behind bars. What the hell? Anyway, he rolls his eyes every time.
I'm sorry. Is it Kansas City or is that Oakland? I can't remember.
Yeah. We've got probably the best running back room that we've ever had.
My God, yes. This dude, where did you find
Carson
this?
Steele? He was undrafted free agent.
Unbelievable, dude. If you guys haven't seen this dude run the ball, the two words that came to mind when I watched him was Mike Allstott. He plays fullback, but he plays like a running back, and he's got a mean stiff arm. The two best stiff arms I saw in the preseason were the backup running back for Seattle. He put a dude right into the deck, and Carson Steele. I mean, I don't
Great
know
name,
why,
by the way.
right? He's ready for porn, no doubt. He's got a porn star name.
Yeah, this football thing doesn't work out.
Right, if the football thing doesn't work out. But my God, I mean, I was a huge Mike Allstott fan, and that's what I thought of when I saw him. It was something else. If you guys just look up his highlights, and you'll see some special running out of a tough dude. It was pretty good, man. It's one of those John Riggins type runners, man, that just does not want to go down, puts his shoulder into people, stiff arms them. It's pretty cool shit to watch, man. If you like good running games, I can't wait to watch this guy. Opening night, I can't wait to watch him, man, against the Ravens. It's going to be fun, man. It's
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So I assume you're picking your team.
Oh, yeah.
Repeat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, even our tight end, we've got Travis Kelce. Yeah. But we didn't have a lot of depth.
We haven't even talked about that guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We went out and got Peyton Hendershot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's good too.
Yeah.
He's not Kelce, but
and Taylor Swift's getting her second season. It's just it's crazy. Sophomore season with her. It's good stuff. It's rolling up.
His brother's retired, so he can be up there bare chested.
Right?
Oh, that's the funniest stuff ever. They just got. We did discuss because it's not a football thing, but they got a $100 million contract for their podcast.
Yes, they did.
Just and they're funny. I've seen skits or not skits, but some videos of it, and they're funny. My favorite skit is still my favorite skit of theirs is still the Swifties asking questions about football. It's still one of my favorite things.
That's too much, man. I'm sure they have a riot with that. I'm sure that's funny as hell. Okay, you said you had something you wanted to pose to us before.
Yeah.
But let's wait until we pick the wild card teams real quick. We got to pick our wild cards too. We've got the division champs. Who are your wild card teams? I'm gonna start.
So there's three, right? You have to do three.
There's three wild card teams. So in the AFC, I'm gonna put down the first one. I'm gonna assume that Joe Burrow stands upright for 17 games, and I'm gonna put the Bengals down as my first wild card team. Then, out of and this is just me actually fantasy footballing right here. I'm going to put the Colts down. I'm going to say Anthony Richardson plays good this year, playing 17 games, and gets them in a position. And then to round it out, I believe I'm going to put the Jets. Since I picked Miami to win the division, I'm going to put the Jets. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers stands upright for a few games this year. So I've got Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and the New York Jets. Knock, are you ready to make this speculation, sir?
I'm going to do Dolphins, Jets, and Bengals.
Yeah, you picked Buffalo to win the divisions. So, and you say two are coming out of the East.
Yeah, the only other team that I like in there is probably Oakland.
Okay, and you said the Bengals.
Yeah.
Last one. Okay.
No particular order in that.
Right. Yeah, and there doesn't have to be an order. We need three wild card teams. Okay, John, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Bengals, the Colts, and the Chargers.
Yeah, I was going to wonder. I don't think Harbaugh is going to get it done this year, but yeah, I got you. Yeah, San Diego. Or I keep saying San Diego. I'm so stuck on that. It's the LA Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers.
The lacking.
The lacking Chargers. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Daniel.
Bengals, Bills, and Colts.
And Colts. Yep.
Bills. Wow.
Every last one of us, except for Knock, has the Colts being a wild card team. Wow.
And for good reason, I think.
Very interesting. But you know what? Every one of us has Joe Burrow as a wild card.
Yeah, especially you know he's got to be prepared after last season. Right?
Dude.
Like it's just, how can you not come back and just destroy the league?
Cody Rhodes dye job on the hair, man.
I was saying,
he let it grow though. He's letting it grow out again, so it's actually no longer than the Eminem that he had it at first. But,
yeah, when he showed up for training camp, he looked like Eminem. So
yeah. Okay, so you had something you wanted to pose to us before we get to the NFC.
Yeah, so I guess my question, like all these teams, right? What they have to do is they need to build for one particular team, right? The back-to-back teams. So, Michael, and this may be more for John than for everybody else, but what team scares you the most to defeat the Chiefs in the AFC? We know what happened with the Ravens last year, right? The offense just, where did it go? Where did the offense go? The offense hasn't gotten any better than last year, right? Yeah. It's still, if anything, they lost Odell Beckham, which, who knows? That guy's such a wild card.
He's worried about the kryptonite. That's what he's worried about. Believe me. Right.
So I want to see, like, what besides the one team that we can all think of right off the bat, what other team?
Besides the Bengals, it's Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've put the most pieces together. They're collecting players like crazy.
The question is, can their chemistry gel in time, or is it going to be a next year thing?
Right. That is the question.
And so, So let's see. We got the division winners. What about the Dolphins?
No, because
no fear from the Dolphins.
Tua's not going to make it through the season. He shocked me last year, but he's not going to make it through the season this year.
Here's what you got to worry about with the Dolphins, guys. What you got to worry about with the Dolphins is this: if they have a better record than you, and you have to go to Miami, that's going to be a whole lot different than going up in the cold in Missouri.
Yeah,
that's the thing. If that's what I would worry about with the Dolphins, you know what I mean? Make sure that they don't have a better record than you.
Yeah.
For me, the AFC, it's going to come down to the Ravens. I don't know that Odell Beckham made a big difference one way or the other. I think adding the running back, which I think he's still got some tread left on the tires, and he can alleviate some of that pressure off the quarterback. And we always want to talk about Coach Harbaugh, right? His older brother knows how to win in this league. He's won Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They have a staunch defense. That would be, if I was a Chiefs fan, that would be the only team that I would fear. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs will beat everybody. So, but I think in the AFC, the Ravens are built to win. It's just if they believe in that and how they face adversity, if they can make adjustments, with that quarterback. Again, they're like to me the Jaguars. I mean, they've made a big investment in that quarterback, but eventually you have to look at it and say, okay, we're not getting over the hump.
That quarterback is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he is a friggin' regular season fantasy football dream.
Yeah.
He wipes everybody out in the regular season. And for some reason, I don't know if it's him and his decision making. I'm starting to think that's what it is, because I just don't get it. How can you just dominate the regular season and just nut up like this every time you get in the postseason?
I think it's got to be play calling too.
Tony Romo do the same thing. How does Dak Prescott do the same thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Danny White do the same thing. I mean, it's a different animal. It's
like sometimes they become too conservative.
Yeah,
too. Trying to mitigate mistakes when taking those risks is what got you there in the first place.
It's what got you there to begin with, right? Yeah, exactly. And those names, Danny, I was going to mention Dak Prescott myself. Dominant in the regular season, get to the playoffs and bad things happen. It's really strange. But and the great ones, they're the complete opposite, right? They shine whenever it's time. I'll tell you what. Getting back to Patrick Mahomes, I still say to this day, his performance in the last 5 minutes in the loss to Tampa Bay is what sold me on how great that guy was. he was trying to will that team to a fucking win at the end of that game. It was amazing.
You know, those great ones, the situation just is not too big for them. It's another game. They know what they have to do. It's the classic, Joe Montana before the drive to beat Cincinnati. He comes into the
Yeah.
huddle, everybody's hyped, right? And he goes, "Wow, look at John Candy's over there in the stands over there." And the
And
guy's
just
like,
instantly
"Yo,
smooths everything out.
hey, we're in the, we got to get this drive." And he's like, he was more concerned with, "Hey, John Candy's over there." The great ones, they just know the situation, and then
I
they
would
calm
like to
everybody down.
Yep.
I would like to point out one stat. The AFC Championship game since 2011 has featured 2 quarterbacks, Brady and Mahomes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The championship games. Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's crazy. All right. So, I as far as I'm concerned, the team that I think most threatens the champs in their conference is, can Joe Burrow stand upright for 17 games? That the kryptonite. It's proven. If he's standing upright for 17 games and gets in the playoffs, they're not scared of the Chiefs. They've done it a couple of times. So, hey, yeah. That's the team he's got to worry about. I'm sure he's going to be watching what's going on in Cincinnati very closely.
Oh, yeah.
If I know John, he will be. Yes.
I will say I'm not as worried about the cold for the Dolphins as you guys seem to be. You have Tyreek, who played in Kansas City for all that time. He's not afraid to play in the cold. They played at home when he was there, right? So cold's not going to be too big a thing for him.
And you watched the playoff game last year, yeah.
Maybe last year, but what about the year before when they went to Buffalo when it was, as cold there and they beat Buffalo in Buffalo? How much colder are you going to get than Buffalo? Okay. So again, I'm not as worried about the cold for them. You would think so because they're in Florida all the time, but they've proven recently that they can play in the cold.
And to be fair, Tyreek did get hurt in that game last year in the cold. So yeah. Okay. Anything else, guys, before we move on to the NFC? No? Okay.
We talked a lot about the AFC. We got to go.
We did. Well, I mean, hey, what are you going to do? The NFC North. Will the Lions repeat? We've got the Lions. We've got the suddenly. What happened to the Packers at the midway point last year? Jordan Love all of a sudden gets it and has turned into a world beater. What in the hell is going on there? You've got
the wide receivers grew up.
Right. You've got Caleb Williams and the newfangled offense of the Chicago Bears.
The preseason crown Super Bowl champs.
I think we can all agree that the team that's going to be in the tank in this division next year, and it's simply because they're suddenly without a quarterback, and they were definitely hurt. Their new quarterback is not even going to get a chance to learn during the season because he's out. What was it, Achilles with him? I can't remember exactly what took down J.J. McCarthy, the rookie they drafted.
The ACL.
ACL? Okay. So he's gone for the season. He's not going to get any snaps. So I'm pretty sure the Vikings are going to be in the tank this season.
You don't trust in Sam Darnold?
No, I don't trust in Sam Darnold one bit.
Just get the ball to Justin Jefferson. That's all you got to do.
That's true. That's true. I think Justin Jefferson is going to be the Devontae Adams of this season.
It hurts that T.J. Hawkinson is going to be out for the first couple of weeks. That's a weapon that hurts too.
Yeah, but pretty sure that they're going to be in the basement. So, who do we think is going to step up and challenge the division champ Detroit Lions? I can't believe I'm saying this. Division champ Detroit Lions this season. Who's going to step up? What do you think, Knock? Can the Packers?
I think it's got to be the Packers, if anybody. The Bears, they have a lot of hype around them for a good reason, but I think it's the Lions to lose, and I think it's the Packers. Packers are a wild card team. Honestly, that's probably going to be my wild card pick is the Packers, but one of them. But I think the Lions got this one. It's there to lose. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, John, who you got in this one?
Yeah, I got to go with the Packers just because Jordan Love, I think, is a better quarterback than Caleb.
Okay.
And he doesn't like the Lions because they beat him last year.
Do you think they're going to take the division?
No, I think it's still going to be the Lions.
Detroit? Okay. All right. Dan, who you got?
Well, I don't subscribe to the idea that you can't start these rookie quarterbacks because the translation from college football to the pros is not that. It's only speed that's different. These
Yeah.
offenses are the same. They bring them, those coordinators come from the college ranks. These quarterbacks, they play 4 or 5 years in these programs. So the translation is not that big deal. I like the Packers to take that division.
Okay. Cool.
Well, I feel like the mechanics from college to NFL are a lot different. You have the spread, offense in college. When you're clapping your hand rather than being under center. I think that's a pretty big adjustment there.
But what
Well, it used to be, option, and then because college was just prevalent with the option, it's just not that big of a leap anymore. They are running these pro style offenses in the college ranks anymore. So, I mean, some of the
Some are. I
terminology
don't think.
might
I don't think a lot
might
of
be
them are.
different. Oh yeah, absolutely they are. But the terminology is going to be different depending on what team you go to. But the reads are going to be the same. It's the speed that's always different
I was going
at
to
the pro
say,
level.
what's open in college football is a lot different from what's open in the NFL. And that I think that's what these young guys struggle with. They see somebody who's open at the NFL level and think he's covered. If you understand what I'm saying, the windows are a lot smaller in the NFL because the talent's so much better and the speed's so much different that they think somebody's covered when they can actually, if they make an accurate throw, can hit somebody.
Well, that and the pre-snap read is crucial at the
Yeah.
pro level. I mean,
Yeah.
really, you have to understand the defense that's in front of you. And again, these are not things that these guys don't see, but it's the
Mhm.
speed and the athleticism is much better, and it's the
Mhm.
pre-snap read. And how much time is this guy going to spend in the film room to understand what the defense is trying to do? That's what separates. But I believe that you got to get these guys on the field. They did it with
Mhm.
Aikman. They did it with
Mhm.
Moreno. I mean,
Yeah.
you can either play
Mhm.
or you can't.
Yeah.
Well,
And to be fair, I would love to have seen McCarthy play for the Vikings, but he's not going to be able to do it because he's injured, and it's a shame because that was what they were hanging their hat on because they lost Kirk Cousins to the Atlanta Falcons in the offseason, and they've got nobody. They did okay at the beginning of the season last year. Was it last year when he was hurt? Or was it the year before when they were shuffling through
No,
quarterbacks?
it was like, and they brought in that one guy that had like 2 games and
The
they won,
astronaut
and
from Arizona, yeah.
and then he fell off, and then he got traded, and then
Right.
it was weird.
Well, I'm just going to say this: there's no crying in football.
No, there isn't. You're absolutely right about that, and that's why I'm picking the Detroit Lions to repeat. Green Bay, that was neat how they came on last year, but I just
I think it all depends on their wide receivers. They're young. That was the thing. They were young. They were getting more experience,
defense
and
is never good. Their defense is never good. So that's if you don't have that, then you're in trouble.
ever since Clay Matthews,
Right. The South, the NFC South. This is my brother's division. The Saints are going with David Carr again.
You talked about the best defense division.
You want to talk about a defense that's much maligned, man. Dennis Allen may not be a good head coach, but he's really good at building defenses, and they're good down there. They really are. They've got some great pieces on that team. But you've got the Saints, you've got the Falcons, who they are the Houston Texans of the NFC. They're trying to win now. They're pulling in all kinds of people. They just got Matthew Judon from the Patriots, as if that team didn't have enough. Now they've got a pass rusher can eat people alive. Looks like they're trying to build to win now. Question to me is, how is Kirk Cousins going to look coming off that? Was it Achilles that got him last year? But they've got Penix. A lot of people thought that was a crazy pick, having Kirk Cousins on your roster. But I heard Arthur Blank in an interview explaining that pick. He was like, look, we're trying to win for a long time, and the guy was there, and we wanted to have him. We've got an old quarterback. He freely admitted Kirk Cousins is not young, So You've got those guys. You got Tampa Bay, who re-signed my boy Baker Mayfield. Yes, I still cape for the Boomer Sooner. I love him. But they're definitely on the decline now from the Brady years and the championship team. But that was a great game between the Detroit Lions and them last year. You know, they just could not last them. And then who's the last team in that division? The Panthers. Yes. Oh my God. I don't even think about them because the idiocy at the top. The friggin' owner is a retard, so I just can't. I can't even speculate about them. But anyway, if I had to pick somebody, just on paper, I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons to win that division this year. And for Danny's hopes and prayers to come true, and Dennis Allen finally gets fired. Thoughts, Knock? What do you think?
Well, we discussed the possible best divisions earlier. This is the worst division in the league right now.
Yes. Who's going to make it over 500 is the question. I think the best ones to do that is the Buccaneers. I'm going to stick with them.
Okay, cool. You go, man. So you think the dream team is not going to pan out in Atlanta?
Well, I mean, seeing as how their refusal to use Kyle Pitts, it's a decision that was made. Let's draft him and then never ever use him. Make sure he doesn't get used.
Hey, they've still got 57-year-old Cordero Patterson. Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And and they're going to play him a lot. They're going to play him until he's in the grave.
Bijan Robinson's a great running back, man. You can't.
Right, and they're still going to use Cordell Patterson more. Like it's going to be insane, right? That's so. And then the Saints, good defense, but offense is whatever. Panthers, I don't see much of a jump. Their team still is awful. It still looks awful. There's no good pieces there, at least right now that I can see. But I'm gonna go with the best quarterback of the bunch, and I think that's Baker Mayfield.
Okay. All right. Well, I like your pick. I like it a lot, dude. I really do. Because that's the guy I'm pulling for down there. You know that. John, what do you think of this division, and who's going to take it?
Well, I think it's hot garbage, but actually, Danny will appreciate that. I'm going to actually take the Saints.
Whoa, get out of town.
I think Carr's going to go down in the first 3 games.
Uh-oh.
I like the way this man thinks.
So what does that leave? That leaves what's his name? Tatum Hill or whatever, Taysom Hill or
No. Spencer Rattler's what he's talking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Which sprinkles a Hill? You ain't gonna put Hill in there.
Oh, he's gonna be there regardless. He's never been Carter though. That's not his role. But go ahead, John. Finish your thoughts.
Yeah, it's just I think their special teams is really good.
Mm-hmm. You know that.
I think the special teams is going to pull their bacon out of the fire quite a bit. But I think out of all the other teams, I don't think Tampa Bay's as good as Baker Mayfield is. I don't think they have all the pieces anymore.
Yeah. Well, they've got arguably, probably quietly, one of the best wide receivers in NFL history too. So.
Yeah. Well, Falcons, I think it's going to take a year for them to gel. Yeah. I don't think the chemistry is there for them. You can pull all these great players.
Yeah.
But if the chemistry is not there, you're not going to do anything with them.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that could be. Absolutely. All right, Dan, tell us all about your division and who's going to take it, bro.
Okay, it is hot garbage, by the way. It's terrible. I'm with Knock. When we talk about teams taking on personalities of their coach, and this is why I don't think the Miami Dolphins are going to do anything. He looks like a soft guy to me, but the head coach there in Tampa Bay.
He's a weed head. That's what it is, dude.
The head coach in Tampa Bay is a hard-nosed guy. Baker Mayfield is a hard-nosed guy. They play a very staunch branded defense. They're physical. It's not pretty when they win, but they find ways to win. And I think of all the teams there, they are mentally tough. And something about teams that play outside. They play on natural grass, and they are just tough to beat, especially when it gets down the stretch. And let's face it, you only got to win one above 500 to win. Not even that. 500 probably win that division. In Atlanta, they just they come off as a soft team to me. I don't care who they put as their head coach. They always come off as a very soft team. So, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to win that division again.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Okay. And pretty sure Dennis Allen gets fired at the end of this one? Yeah?
No, they'll probably give him an extension. They'll give Carr a huge bonus contract.
Oh,
and they
man,
will find
500
ways
mil,
to
10
destroy
years?
that
Oh, man.
franchise.
He's going to get the Gruden deal and stay in New Orleans forever, huh? Oh, God. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got the NFC East next. Was the NFC least there for a while. Now, all of a sudden, they're in the conversation now. We've got the Dallas Cowboys, who are like the Ravens in the AFC, just world beaters during the regular season, and then all of a sudden, the playoffs hit, and it's what in the hell happened to the Philadelphia Eagles last year? They were in the Super Bowl. They reeled off 8 wins, and then they just collapsed in the second half of that season. Nothing. Their friggin' tush push wasn't even working at the end of the season.
Everybody figured out the tush push.
Oh my God! It was wow. I don't know. Was Hurts hurt or something, and we didn't know it, or I don't know. I don't know what happened to that team down the stretch. It was ridiculous.
Is Hurt more overrated than
right? I don't know about all that.
Hey, y'all, just real quick for me, breakfast is ready. I got to jump off. I will say for the NFC East, it's going to be the cow flop, and then they'll get blown out in the playoffs like they do. They're the most talented team in that division.
Yeah.
But they'll win it and then fall apart in the playoffs.
Okay.
It's good hanging with you guys.
Danny, I'll get the rest of your picks in the text later on. Okay.
10-4. Y'all
all
take
right,
care.
I love you, man.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Take care, brother.
All right.
See ya. All right. Yeah, it's always good to talk football with my bro, man. He's fantastic. He loves football, but much like you, Knock, he loves the college game as well. He watches that more than he does the pros, really. But anyway, and he's going to be all over that USC LSU game tonight. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I'll be watching too. We got a holiday tomorrow, so I'll be up.
I'm going to have to finish the show on time tonight. You know, we get off right at 6:30, which is the time it starts in our time zone. So we'll definitely be finishing our show, wrapping it on time tonight. But I'm going to say in the NFC East, let me finish the breakdown real quick. Saquon Barkley is now added to the Philadelphia roster. I think the New York Giants, I don't know who's running things in that town, but their football IQ is in the basement. They signed Daniel Jones off a 1 playoff game to a huge contract. And I don't know if you saw him in the preseason, but he's back to midseason form, throwing picks that it has no business throwing. It's redonkulous. And they don't have Saquon Barkley anymore. I don't know what Giants are thinking. And then you've got the dark horse of this whole thing is the Washington Commandos. And their young quarterback from LSU looked really good. Jaden Daniels looked really good in the preseason. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do coming up this next season.
I didn't really understand the trade for Jahan Dotson to the Eagles. That one kind of confused me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And apparently the Eagles pass rusher, what's his name?
Reddick.
Yeah, he wants out of there. He wants a trade now. So really weird shit going on in Philadelphia. I'm going to go with Danny and go with the Cowboys, but I would say keep an eye on the Washington Commandos. I really would, because they look like they're building long term, and I like some of the pieces they got there. I really do. Knock, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of got to go with the Cowboys too. They got, if you were looking at their running backs in 2018, they have the 2 best ones: Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
So so we'll see.
You still got the midget, right?
I like that midget. He's good. So we'll see how the run games go. They still got, CeeDee Lamb got his payday.
So, he's happy, right? So let's, sometimes after a big contract, players don't do as well. But
hasn't been signed yet. And he's talking like, hey, this is just business and I'll either be here or I won't. I mean, he's got a nonchalant attitude about the whole thing, man, and my brother didn't get a chance to say it, but I'll tell you what he's already said to me. He hopes that Dallas doesn't pay him and he goes to New Orleans. That's what he's hoping. Yeah. So, come on home is what my brother says.
But yeah, so I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this one. I still think they have that defense is still really good. They are going to miss that cornerback that got him a whole lot of pick sixes last year for the first month or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like them. Eagles are they're building that dream team again, but you know how that works out.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of a wild card right now. I still think they're gonna challenge the Cowboys for the division for sure. And then the Commanders don't have a great defense. I think they're gonna win some games, but they're still gonna be. I think they're one of those teams that's like a year away. Yeah. But you got their quarterback, right? You got your quarterback.
They got their quarterback for the next decade.
If that pans out, I think they'll be good for years to come. So they're right at the start.
The question for the guy like that is, can he stay healthy? Because we've seen with Richardson, what can happen. And
we've seen RG3. Washington is very, they know a lot of it.
Yes.
At least this time he won't be saddled with a Kirk Cousins that people keep crying for.
Right.
Stuff like that.
There's not going to be the call for the backup in this town. Yeah.
But so I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Okay. And John, who you got?
Well, the Cowboys are definitely a contender, but I'm saying the Eagles.
Okay, you're going back to Philly.
I think there's just enough still in the Eagles tank to hold the division.
And they scooped up the best. They hang their hat on running, and they got the best running back in the division.
Yeah, so,
arguably the conference. Really, the guys.
Well, I always feel like it doesn't matter who they have back there. They just have to actually run the damn ball.
Yeah. Right.
And I think, and I'm sorry, I just can't trust Dax to do anything.
I feel like you can in the regular season.
Bad Dak Bad Dak shows up way too many times.
Yeah. And there's always a chance he can get hurt too. Because
Commanders, they just replaced their entire staff.
Yep.
From the top down. So it's going to
Kingsbury, offensive coordinator, and
it's going to take at least a year, maybe two, for them to start getting a system to gel.
Yeah.
So
the Texans are an anomaly, right? You're not going to get that with every new system every year, right? Would I hope the Broncos go and go 10-7 or whatever it is, and make the wild card and play well? Sure, could the Commanders do that? Sure, it's possible, but that doesn't happen very often.
You know what sucks? Last year was a wasted season for Sean Payton and the Broncos. It really was, because they had a quarterback they knew was not the future of the football team at all. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to see how they do this year.
The last two seasons were wasted.
And New York, well, they went from the G-Men to the Keystone Cops. So
they did, man. I don't get what they're doing there. I really don't.
Ever since they took that picture on that yacht, it's never been the same since.
Horrible.
You could literally, like, if you put on the field Turning Point, and it's the opposite way, or like where you went to bad to or good to bad rather than a bad part of the game to a good game. Yeah, it's that picture. That's literally, you could point to that and say, ever since that picture, it's been downhill.
Mm-hmm. And I just don't. I can't forgive them for letting Saquon out of the house. It's just it makes no sense to me. Their best football player, and they give Daniel Jones, a human jugs machine, a fucking huge deal, and let their best player go. That's just opposite thinking. I mean, I don't know what they're either bailing to sell the team rock bottom price or something. I don't know what they're doing. It's almost like watching the Charlestown Chiefs in Slapshot. It's ridiculous, man. It's stupid. Okay. The NFC West, the the division that used to be the toughest division in football, and it's not so much anymore. It's middle of the road, but it does have arguably the toughest team in football in the San Francisco 49ers. I think we've chronicled enough about how much they love to punch you in the mouth at every position on that team. And Brandon Ayuk got his deal this week.
He did.
So all that.
We can stop this freaking trading talk.
Over with, yeah. It was stupid as hell that even they weren't going to re-sign him, but we don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
It's business.
It's all business, but he got his deal, so the team is intact. And will they repeat? I think they will. I think that Arizona's going to get better. I still think we're in a stalemate, and until I like Geno. Don't get me wrong. I saw him live last year. That offense is good, but their defense is nothing like it used to be. They are a sieve. I watched them lose a game. What was it? 32-35 against the Cowboys in Dallas. And they kept up offensively, but my gosh, they can't stop anybody. They're like watching the New Orleans Saints, before they won the Super Bowl, right? Drew Brees throwing for 500 yards a game and they lose 38-35. You know what I'm saying? No defense at all. And then you've got, let me think. Oh yeah, the Rams. The Rams. Can they push the Niners? Well, that's always a possibility because Sean McVay is one of those brilliant offensive minds and they've got a couple of great possession wide receivers in Cup and whatever the Hawaiian guy's name is. I can't remember.
Puka Nacua.
There you go, Puka Nacua. They've got a couple of the best ball catchers, probably the best tandem in our.
It's like having two Wes Welkers.
Right. It's ridiculous, man. Somebody's going to be open every play. It's just, can Matthew Stafford see it in time?
And stay healthy.
That's the thing. He's getting old. But he's a gamer. I've always
loved him. I don't think anyone is scared of that defense anymore. Without the big guy in the middle there.
No, not at all. So I'm going to pick the Niners. I'm taking the Niners in that division. As much as I hate to say it, they're going to repeat. Arizona is a team to keep your eye on because this is going to be the first season that Kyler Murray is going to start for him again. And it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there with the new coach. They played a lot better than I thought. That they were in every game last year, even though they were losing. They were competitive with that new head coach that they got from the Eagles. So I'm going to say San Francisco, but keep a close eye on Arizona and the Rams. I think we're going to be in the basement because our defense is just so bad, and there's so many good offenses in that division. So, Knock, thoughts on the West of the?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that the main team in that division is the 49ers. They have everything.
Yep.
Running back, wide receivers, Brock Purdy, who Mr. Irrelevant has just been ridiculous. Defense is still awesome. I would say that the one thing, the biggest challenge to them would be maybe the Rams, depending on their defense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If the Rams have a good defense, I think their offense can do some work in this division for sure. Yep. Now, I would say with the Cardinals and the Seahawks, this is probably with this division, it's probably the one division that has the best chance to get every team above 500.
Yeah.
I would say
just offensively, yes.
So I think because the Cardinals, you got I think they still have Andrew Hopkins, don't they? And then they got Marvin Harris Jr. So I mean, you can hate on the quarterback all you want, but he makes the occasional plays, and he just needs to get the ball.
He's
to these
another
wide
one that's good in the regular season. He's another one.
So he'll be back. He'll be healthy, and so the offense will be back. The defense will be probably middle of the road. Who knows about them? And then the Seahawks, same thing.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, if you like offense, watch both the games between the Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals this year because it's going to be a fucking take the over. It's going to be a light up session, no doubt.
Probably for all of these games, depending. I think it's just which team has a defense. We know the 49ers do. We don't know if the other three do. So that's kind of where we're at. The offenses are fine on all four teams, or will be fine. I think will be fine on all four teams. Yep. It's just we only know about one defense, and that's 49ers.
Yep. Okay, so you got the 49ers. John, are you straying from our opinion at all?
Well, I probably shouldn't, but I am.
Oh, shit.
I think the Rams are gonna surprise people.
Yeah. It's weird with that team. 1 year they're down, the next year they're up, and I get where you're coming from. Yep.
I think they're gonna. It's gonna come down between the Niners and the Rams, and I think the Rams are gonna hold the better record because I just looked at their schedule.
Mm-hmm. It's a last play schedule, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rams have an way easier schedule than the 49ers do. I mean, because 49ers dealing with the Chiefs, they're dealing with dealing with the Lions. They've got a lot of really good teams.
They've got the first place schedule. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really conceivable that the Rams will pull out a better record than the 49ers this year.
That's something you definitely have to consider. I'm doing all this off of the eye test. I'm not really looking at the schedules and who they're playing too. That's.
I mean, you got the Jets, you got the Rams twice, you got the Chiefs, Cowboys, Buccaneers, Seahawks, Packers, Bills, Rams, Dolphins, and Lions. The last 3 weeks of the season.
Jesus.
That's division winners. Yeah, there's a lot of division winners in that.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so we got all the division winners. Now it's wild card time. Wild cards for the NFC. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles because I picked Dallas. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks. I say we make the playoffs this year. Yes, as a wild card team. I think the West sends, just because of what we talked about, none of those teams are hurting on offense at all in the West. As the wild card teams, that's what I'm taking. Knoxter, your 3 wild card teams for the NFC.
2 of mine are the same, the Eagles and the Rams. However, just like last year, I think the Packers are going to get half a game above the Seahawks and make it in.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is what happened. I believe that's what happened last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Seahawks are going to get it. Yeah,
I think we did this. We did those scenarios last year, and the Packers scenario won out, and the Packers made it in just barely by the skin of their teeth, and it was over the Seahawks. So
they did.
I'm feeling the same thing. So
okay, John, your 3:
Lions, 49ers, and the Cowboys.
Lions, 49ers. Yeah, John's looks way different than everybody else. Well, it's because he picked New Orleans and the Rams as the division winners.
Yeah, it's either
and the Packers.
Really brilliant. It's either really brilliant.
No,
or I'm talking about my ass.
He picked Detroit, man.
Oh, did he?
Did I pick Detroit?
No. Wait a minute.
No, he did. No, he said he thought the Packers were going to do better than the Bears, but the Lions were going to win.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the Lions. It would be the Packers. So it would be Cowboys, Packers, and 49ers.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I've got it documented here. Now, we've got to go to the AFC champion. Who do you think is going to outlast them? Well, I've got in the AFC, I've got Baltimore, Houston, Miami, and Kansas City as the champs. Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and New York Giants as my wild cards.
Really, the Giants in the AFC? That's crazy. That's did they flop around? I didn't know any better.
That's the fucking Giants.
Wow.
So
AFC. I'm looking at this and. It's between three teams for me, and it all has to do with who is the least banged up by the end of the season. And that's Houston, Miami, and Kansas City. And I hate, Kansas City. I got to take Kansas City, simply because of their coaching staff. It even if they have injuries, it's been proven that KC is going to be there at the end of the year.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Only the coaching staff.
Patrick Mahomes, of course, but But look, have we had a better backup situation? They have 57-year-old men playing backup there that show up in the playoffs for them and win.
Who's it now? Is it Carson Wentz right now?
Yep.
Is it Carson Wentz?
Oh man, only the Chiefs can
come out there and win a playoff game for them.
Hey, that would be his second Super Bowl. I mean, just saying. He's already won one.
As a bench warmer, right?
Yeah, hey, that's still gets you a ring.
Yeah, we've got who is it? Is it from the Patriots? Is it Bailey? What's his name?
Oh, Zappy.
Zappy.
They let him go. Yeah, the Patriots let him go.
We got Zappy as our third string quarterback. In other words, the quarterback of our
practice squad.
Yeah, because we only keep two quarterbacks on the team.
Right. Yeah.
On the roster. So.
Okay, so I got KC. John, I have to assume you're taking your own team as the okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Knock. Who is
just like last year, I'm going to be disappointed when 0 teams can seem to beat them, but it's going to be the Chiefs again.
Okay.
I'm going to be pulling for literally every team in the AFC to beat them, and none of them will.
My brother's got KC because he already picked them to win it all. So there we go. Okay. All right, the NFC, boys and girls. I've got Detroit, Atlanta, Dallas, and San Francisco as the division champs. Philly, Los Angeles, and Seattle as the wild cards. I am going to say, boys and girls, that last year was the beginning and they pay off this year, and the Detroit Lions make it to the Super Bowl. Finally, after how many years of existence, they make it to the Super Bowl. I say they outlast the 49ers and get into the Super Bowl. Knock, what do you think? Now, let's be clear. He's got Detroit, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and San Francisco as his division champs, and Philly, Los Angeles Rams, and the Green Bay Packers as his wild cards. Go.
I'm pretty sure I picked them the last 2 years, and I'm going to stick with them, but it's going to be the 49ers for me.
Okay.
I like the Lions, and I still think they're going to win the division, but I still think Jared Goff is going to regress. I'm not a believer in Goff completely. Okay. I am, as a football fan, I'm always for the team that's never won a Super Bowl. And when the Eagles went, with what's his name, Nick Foles, I was rooting for them. I mean, everyone was rooting against the Patriots except for Patriots fans. But so I'm always for a team that's never won one, and so I'll always go for I was rooting for them big time last year, mainly because I just wanted a team that could beat the Chiefs, because no one can seem to do it in the playoffs. But whether they're at home or on the road, so it pisses me off. But I still think the 49ers are the class of the NFC.
Okay. All right. He's got the San Francisco 49ers. He's predicting a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago? Wasn't it? Okay. John, you've got the Detroit Lions, the New Orleans Saints, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Los Angeles Rams winning divisions, and you've got the Packers, the Niners, and the Cowboys as wildcard teams. Who do you have facing your beloved Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year?
I'm gonna step out on that limb. I'm gonna think the Packers are gonna run the table for the wild card.
Wow!
Packers Chiefs Super Bowl. Are you like writing the script for the NFL now? Man, a Packers Chiefs Super Bowl.
See a repeat.
Wow.
Super Bowl 1
was 1, 2, and 3 or whatever.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
How many speeches will we see from Lombardi if that happens? I mean, my goodness, nonstop clips of the 50s.
Now, the ultimate question, and we already know my brother thinks they're going to do it. Shall they three-peat?
Yes.
I say no. The Detroit Lions will win their first Super Bowl this year. Go. Knock.
I'm going to pray no. Because that would just make them insufferable.
So you're gonna say the San Francisco 49ers are going to get it together and win a Super Bowl.
I don't even know, even though that's my pick, I don't even know if it'll be the 49ers that make it there. But, I'm hoping upon hope.
So you're picking the Niners or you're picking KC?
I guess I'll have to pick KC. I just until they actually lose in the playoffs. They're undefeated in the playoffs since Joe Burrow. So it's kind of someone's got to beat him.
I know I don't have to ask the guy at the bottom what he.
Come on, John, step out on that limb. You've been doing it all day.
I am the only one not picking the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I say it's going to be Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions.
I hope it is. If that happens, it's going to be a fantastic day.
Chiefs are going to three-peat, and we're going to end this GOAT conversation once and for all.
Well,
I mean, you still need a three-peat over six total. Seven total? Nah, a three-peat boosts his stock a lot, but it does not make it a GOAT.
I don't know. Tom's got a few.
GOAT Junior, maybe. GOAT Junior, but
Tom's got a few.
He's still got to do it with another team. Let's go to a team that hasn't sniffed the playoffs in years.
Patrick Mahomes is.
Let's not win one for a decade and then win three more.
Patrick Mahomes is going to retire a Chief, just like Travis Kelce's going to.
I'm pretty sure they thought that about Brady.
That's right. There's a bold statement, John.
Yeah, right. Especially in this day and age. Oh man.
Just like Chris
Jones. Losing. See what happens.
So Chris Jones is going to. You say Chris or is
no,
that
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is going to retire a Chief.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't believe I'm the only one not picking the three-peat. It's never been done, boys and girls. There's a reason why it's never been done.
If there's anybody in the world that can do it, it's Patrick Mahomes.
You would have.
It's just one of those things. It's like who's going to beat them? Like it's just kind of.
You would have thought Lombardi's Packers would have done it, and actually, they did.
Yeah,
they won the NFL championship the year before the
count.
first Super
It
Bowl.
doesn't count.
I know it doesn't.
Super Bowl.
I know it doesn't. I'm just saying.
Well, you can still always do the Buffalo or Minnesota and go to 4 Super Bowls, 4 in a row, and never win.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That's always an option too.
I don't think Minnesota didn't go to 4 in a row.
Was it 4 or 3?
Buffalo, no. Minnesota went to 4 Super Bowls. It wasn't in a row though. Buffalo did that. They represented. It is so impressive what that franchise did there in the fucking 90s.
They went to
they represented their conference for half a decade. They damn near did that. I mean, it's amazing. It really is.
Couldn't get a job done.
And I really think if they don't miss that field goal against the Giants, that they win one of the ones against the Cowboys. I don't think they had a chance against Rippon's Redskins, but I think they would have had. They wouldn't have had that mental weight. They would have known they could do it. So I think they would have won one of the ones against the Cowboys. But man, dude, because if you remember that second Super Bowl against the Cowboys, they were beating them.
Yeah.
Until they unleashed Emmett in the second half, But anyway, okay, boys and girls, that is our season lead up. Before we get out of here, let's talk about the 2 opening games this season that we're going to see before we're with you next Sunday. The first one being the champs raising their what? Which banner is this? Number 5, I think. No, 4? Is it number 4?
Wait.
Nah, Patrick's won 3 of them, hasn't he?
Yeah, we only won 1 before, so it's 4. It's the 4th one.
No. Okay, that's right. You only won 1. under
We
Hank
only won
Stram. That's
Super
right.
Bowl 4 with Lynn
Right,
Dawson.
right. I was thinking, yeah. Okay.
Then it was 50 years until Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So it's number 4. They're going to be hanging against the Baltimore Ravens, boys and girls. And we all know what the Ravens are like in the regular season. Going to be interesting to see. This one's going to be on NBC. And I don't know, man. They're hard to beat in their own house. But if you're going to beat them, you got to get them in the first month of the season. Because once they get past that, they start clicking on all the cylinders. I don't know, man. This one's hard for me to pick. It really is. I'm taking the champs at home. I just feel like they're going to be able to do it, especially with that crowd. They're hard to beat at home. They just are. We all know what you think there, KC, down at the bottom. Knock.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
I'm prepared, just like the Ravens, to go 0-1, so I'm going to pick the Ravens.
Okay. Hang on. Let me go ahead and document this. We got to get the first.
I think you're right. I think you got to get the Chiefs while they're still gelling, and then by the end of the season, they'll have ripped off 8 straight games to win the division and get the first round bye and all that stuff. But I think, I think you get. I think the Ravens can come out and let's show off Derrick Henry.
Right, pound it down their throat.
Keep Pat off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Control the clock with the run game you're supposed to have, and maybe show a little fire because you got destroyed last year in the playoffs. So, you made 7 points in a playoff game.
Yeah, this high-powered offense got 7 points. Yeah.
So can you come out and do something a little different, or it could be the exact same game? So that's what I'm saying. I'm prepared to go 0-1 this one, but I'm gonna pick Baltimore.
Okay, let's see. The other game is on a Friday. It's from Brazil. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Friday. It's on Peacock. It's a Peacock exclusive. Don't even get me on this subject about where all these streaming services have. And really, what happened with that class action lawsuit?
It got dismissed.
It got dismissed.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have. I think it's wrong that you pay all this money for the NFL ticket and you don't get all the games.
Well, if you get it on Apple, you can get it for just a balmy $700.
Yikes!
That's a real thing. On Apple TV, you can get NFL for $700. It's like $650, something like that. That's a legit price on Apple, and that's mainly because Apple wants a big slice of it. So it's like an extra $300 just for Apple.
When the people in Brazil only pay $55 a year for Game Pass and get all the games. Yeah. This is just to let you know, boys and girls, this is exclusive to the States. They're gouging us, everybody else around the world that they want to watch this game. They give it to them at bottom dirt prices.
Plus, it's not as big overseas too as it is here. They know we're gonna put forward the money.
Supply and demand. Yes, absolutely. That's it. The market has dictated the price, and I'm sorry, they're gouging us. I'm not paying for that shit.
I only did the Peacock because it was $20 for the year. I'm like, well, this will set me up during football time. So that's literally the only reason I did it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got the Green Bay Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles at Brazil. Very, very interesting game here. Philly crashed and burned at the end of last season. I think the addition of Saquon Barkley is going to help. I don't believe in the Green Bay Packers defense. I think this is going to end up being a shootout, but I think the Philly running game is going to mow them down in such a way as to break their spirits, and I believe the Philadelphia Eagles will win this game. Knock.
Yeah, I think Philly has the run game, and Green Bay will have the passing game. I always think I'm always a fan of controlling the clock, so I play all my games. So Philly can run that ball and control it, make a few plays on offense because Green Bay's going to have to throw it. So if they can get a few turnovers, they just need a few. They can control this game. And, I'm going with Philly.
And they've got the best pass rusher on the field in the Son Riddick. So, hey, man. Okay, John, what you got?
I'm going to go with the Packers.
You are a closet case Green Bay Packer fan.
No, I'm not. I think they've got a good shot this year.
It would be a statement game for them. This would absolutely be a statement game if they came out and won this one. We just beat Philly in another country. I think that's a huge statement game. So absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now we're not going to talk about the rest of the games because then we wouldn't have a show next week. Our whole NFL pregame party is to show off the slate of games on Sunday. So look forward to that at 10 a.m. next week for sure. We'll be talking football on the slate of games, and we'll let you know the results and our take on the two games that will have already been played. Anything else you guys want to talk about when it comes to the season upcoming? I think we covered just about everything.
Yep.
I guess one question. I like myself, I didn't watch too much of the
You're away from the
preseason
mic.
games. No, I'm not.
Well, it sounded like you were going.
Yeah, I have a headset. The mic comes to me.
Okay. All right. Go.
But what did you guys think of the kickoff? I felt like a lot of more yards were given.
It's caused a lot of controversy. I can tell you that. I think the head coaches don't like the penalty that they're going to get from not returning a ball. I think that for a team like the 49ers, it's going to be a definite weapon because, my God, how many Swiss Army knives do they have that could bust through that kind of fucking scrum and score? Because if you break through that, the kicker's the only thing in your way. Right.
And they said that I think the percentage on it was from 22% last year of touchbacks or actual runs.
Yeah.
In the preseason, it was like 76% ran the ball back.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge jump.
Well, I'm sure they're telling, if you're a head coach unless they've got a return man that can prove they can do it on a regular basis, I'm sure they're telling the kickers kick it where they have to field it. You know what I mean? Because
right, it's going to be more prevalent.
They have to return it, right? They have to do it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be.
I liked it. I'm still hoping that next year eventually get rid of the onside kick. That's now become the most worthless play. It barely has any chance to get it. I am all for the 4th and 20, 4th and 25, anything. I think 4th and 20 would make more sense to give it some kind of chance. But it's still a better chance than the onside kick. That's all I want. That's all I've wanted the last couple of years.
So you want to take that tool away from Sean Payton, who arguably won a Super Bowl doing that?
No, because Joe, look, okay, and here's the thing. One, he did that at halftime. You can no longer do onside kicks in halftime because of the rule change. You can only do it in the fourth quarter, and you have to tell the refs. You have to tell them that you're going to do an onside kick. There's no surprise anymore. So yes, I absolutely want to take it away because it's not the same thing anymore.
Did I trigger this guy or what?
You said what you want to give. You want to take away. It's already been taken away, Joe. So that makes that argument is invalid.
I understand that, bro. Dude, I didn't mean to trigger you. Really?
Well, I didn't understand the question because it's like it's already been taken away. So no, it's not gonna affect that at all. It's gonna give actual teams a better chance to continue to play in the fourth. And it only happens in the fourth quarter. You can only do it in the fourth quarter. So it would only be when you're losing, and it gives you a better chance.
It makes no damn sense to do it anyway. If you can't surprise them with it, which with the new return you can't surprise them with it because they have to totally move the ball to a different part of the field.
Right? Yeah, you have the setup is completely different. That's why they have to tell the refs, right? Yeah, it's stupid. So
it is stupid.
That's why I'm hoping.
And this is, I mean, any new rule is going to be on a trial basis. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes this season.
Which is why we have the XFL, the UFL now, and they've been testing it in there. It's been working, and it's been working. So I think it's worth it to change.
Yep, I hear you. But they've got to come up with something for a team to try and. Which one is it? I think it's a 4th and 15
Right now, it's a 4th and 12 in the UFL. It's 4th and 12, or at least it was. I think the UFL kept the 4th and 12. I think the XFL and the UFL one did one and the other, 4th and 15 and 4th and 12. I'm good with the 4th and 15. I'd say 20 is a little bit too much. I think you should still have a chance to do it, but it should still be a good amount of yards. If you have a good pass rush, you're still going to get there.
Well, if you're a number cruncher, you can always dig into the number of yards and the percentages that it succeeds and that kind of thing. You can look at all of that.
Which is what they could do. Yeah, which they could do. Absolutely. And they could do that because they've had that difference between the 12-yard line and the 15-yard line. They have the data that they can go and look and say, hey, which one's the harder one, and that's the one we'll go with, or which one's easier.
Make it match what the onside kick was doing when it was still a thing, right? Make it match that, and then roll with it.
Oh, yeah, and they said it was way better than the onside kick. It was a way better chance. I know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go. What do I think of the new onside, the new kicking rules? I think it's definitely going to cut down on injuries, which is what the whole point of it is. And I think that if you've got a coach like a Jim Fossil, for instance, who started in special teams and ended up winning, winning a Super Bowl with the Giants, eventually. If you've got a great special teams mind like that, he's going to scheme ways to get a lane open for a return man. And it's going to, some team in the NFL, there's 32 teams. One of the teams is going to make it a weapon. And they're going to make it to where other teams that play them by midseason is kicking it out of the back of the end zone and saying, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to make it dangerous. Yeah. So,
and because initially they were talking about getting rid of it, so it wasn't even a play. So I think this alleviates that, because special teams is how most teams, most NFL players make a team, but outside of the top, 2 roster spots, So it's like,
I'll tell you the teams to watch when they do this. This year, I want you to watch the Atlanta Falcons do it, because we've seen Cordero Patterson return punts for touchdowns, right? Yeah. Watch the Falcons and watch the 49ers, because they have so many Swiss Army knives that can do fucking crazy shit. Imagine if they put Deebo Samuel back for kick returns. I mean, good Lord. Good Lord. That's somebody that can break a tackle is going to make some noise on kick returns.
Yeah, this is where Xavier Worthy's speed would be something crazy.
Come on, man. Yeah, imagine that. If the Chiefs figure out a way to cause a crease in that and he can see it, imagine what's going to happen. There's and what this might do is all of a sudden they're going to start drafting athletes at the kicker position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Guys with fast 40 times that can kick.
Yeah, they're no longer going to get to just chill out on the sideline anymore. They're going to have to actually work out and stuff.
Sebastian Fatakowski's out there, right? We're going to have guys that can fucking actually get.
Unless they can boot it the most accurate you can possibly boot and give your defense or your special teams a chance to get down the field.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, that is going to be fun. Knock. It's going to be fun to see.
Or they're all going to draft thicker kickers and somebody that can tackle.
Right. Exactly. No shit. All right, boys and girls, I want to thank you guys for being here. Let me let you know what's going on with the channel. Of course, Pregame Party starts this morning and continues through every Sunday of the football season. We're going to have a good time bringing it to you. We love football, as you can tell. We enjoy the game, and it's going to be fun to cover it for you this year. Look for the Week 1 edition, the Pregame Party, next week. At 10 a.m. Central Time on Sunday. And then at 5 p.m. Central Time this evening, you can watch the guy that was on here earlier, the Highlander. Join me for the Brothers Hack the Matrix. My brother and I get together and show you everything that's going on the clown show that is 2024 through today's headlines. The Brothers Hack the Matrix every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. And then later on tonight, at midnight Eastern, you can see me on The Other Side of Midnight on Deleted Scenes channel, where it's pretty much a pop culture show. It's a panel of friends getting together and talking about pop culture themes. So come check us out. We're on for a couple of hours from midnight to 2 Eastern. It's 11 to 1 Central Time on Deleted Scenes channel. And then tomorrow morning, it's Military Monday with Gary on Pop Culture Mindfield's channel. Anima and Martin will be there as well. I'm not sure what the show is this week. I think I heard I'm going to get you, sucker. I think he said I'm going to do. I don't know why he'd do that on a Military Monday, but that's what Martin may have been confused when I asked him the question earlier this week. So I think he might have been confused, but we're going to do something military this Monday on Pop Culture Minefield with Gary and Anima and Martin at 10 a.m. Central Time Monday. And then Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time, it's a meeting of the Cult Comedy Crew on That 70s Rock Fans channel. We're going to get together and talk about the hockey comedy Shoresy. So come check that out tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time on That 70s Rock Fans channel. And then I start my streaming week with Papa Joe Gamer After Dark, video games, cocktails, and fails. And this week on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Central Time, I will continue my playthrough of Brutal Legend. I was pleasantly surprised this week when Rob Halford showed up in the game, the lead singer for Judas Priest. He was on the back of a souped up tricycle. It was pretty neat. But you got Ozzy Osbourne doing all my gear upgrades. Got Lemmy from Motorhead as my healer. And so you guys come check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's Jack Black back in 2009 when he hadn't lost his mind yet. Brutal Legend. You guys come check it out at 10 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday. And then you can see everybody that's on this show right now, plus a lot more on State of the Atmosphere. Our pop culture show comes your way on Hump Day, Wednesday, every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. We get into the box office receipts and talk about the new movies out and all that good stuff. We'll let you know how the Reagan movie did this weekend and everything else this Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central on State of the Atmosphere. And then Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time, come check out Sketching the Privateer, the story of America's pirate patriot, as I create my comic book from the ground up. Come check it out. Sketching the Privateer at 1 p.m. Central Time on Friday. And then, of course, Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time, John will be back. He's feeling better. I'm assuming you sound better.
Yeah, I'm better.
He was sick this week, but he'll be back on Pop Culture Minefield on Friday night, playing some more of the Walking Dead Telltale series on Game Night with John on Pop Culture Minefield, 8 p.m. Central Time on Friday. And then Saturday night, Jed had a family emergency last night, but we will be back with the MFR Roadhouse on Jed Revenwolf's channel at 9 p.m. Central Time this Saturday. So come check that out. We had our first show last Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. We'll be starting on YouTube this week and also on the platform that bounces, the Bumble. But anyway, you guys come check that out. Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Time, MFR Roadhouse returns this Saturday. And it brings us right back around to the Week 1 pregame party. So for myself, the Knoxter, John Das Wolfen, and hopefully we'll see Matt soon. He was wanting to be here, but apparently he must have had something going on. But I will keep working on him. If he misses every other show, great. But I want him on this one because that guy knows a lot about football. I want to thank you guys for being here. And until we see you again, I want you guys to keep on keeping on. God bless.